What's up, everybody? We're back with the Montarctica podcast. This is episode 50. We've made it to 50. Even though I keep taking breaks for like months at a time. And in the room with me tonight, I got Bret, Peigneux, and Shane Carnahan. How you guys doing?
Good. What's up, guys?
Larry,
I'm doing great.
Larry nods his head
I'm
like they
doing
see him.
great. I'm doing good, buddy.
Anyway, we haven't even done a podcast since that last comedy show that I had here. I put on a comedy show that was kind of a variety show for Christmas, and we haven't even done another podcast. We did one right before it, but we haven't done one since. And
Yeah, it was a good time.
It
I enjoyed it.
turned out pretty good. I tried the City Hall just for something new to see if the venue would work, because we're always working on what venue works best, and just trying to find one in this tiny town. Nothing's really built for entertainment here, Like, I've used the theater, but the bathrooms aren't quite adequate. It's tough to have a bar in there,
Well, then anytime somebody gets up, got to walk by everybody else. I thought the City Hall was great.
Yeah, I do too. You could lay out chairs good. They had the tables, chairs looked great. Gave everybody a good view of the stage. It's easy to get to the restrooms. You can have more of a bar set up for serving purposes. I think it kicked ass, man.
I think, and they tried to fix the sound issues a bit in there too, because it was always really echoey. And I could still notice that it was pretty echoey in there, but it did help it a lot. I don't know if I'm ready to pull the trigger on a band in there yet, just because.
Well, it's all coming along. They're gonna put some more sound deadening shit or whatever that stuff they're gonna put in there. They're gonna put more of that in there, and yeah, it's just a slow process, but.
Well, yeah, I'm glad that they're doing something about it finally. I've been, as a promoter, I've been asking, just hoping something will hit, that I can use a decent venue around here. You hardly don't dare use an outdoor venue for something, because we get like 3 months of nice weather, and sometimes that's not even nice. But
the thing is, though, that's a city facility, and the city doesn't have a lot of money to dump into that for being a small community. So it's kind of just relying on funds being donated through certain,
I thought the sound was all right in it, really.
yeah, it was better than I expected.
But I mean, I know if you throw a band in there, it's going to be way different.
My dad's told me before they'd played a couple gigs in there, and he said never again.
Oh yeah.
Until they get the sound fixed, because it's just so echoey and you can't hear yourself singing and whatnot. But I don't know. I hope they get it fixed, because it's about the perfect size to have anything go on in Malta too. You got to shoot almost between the 200 and 400 mark of people, because anything too big, it looks too spread out, and anything too small, you just don't fit them right. It's tough.
I like the tables. You can sit with all your buddies, and
that's what I like too. That's to me, that gives it more of like a comedy club vibe, kind of being able to sit at a table and then
more of your house vibe type deal.
Yeah.
And then there's the waitresses, and they could get around and serve the tables, or
you got to get drunk. I mean, they ran out of booze by halftime of that thing, which was a good thing. So yeah, they had to go restock. It was a plus.
I know our table looked like an ad for Miller Lite.
I keep saying I need to get into the booze or the comedian business instead of the promotion business, because everybody else gets more money out of the deal than me, and I'm the one stressing my ass off the whole time until the show hits, and then my mom took off with my coat after it. I'm freaking out. I'm wanting to go to the after party, and I got my phone and everything else in my coat and the keys to the city hall, and my mom, being a good Samaritan she is, loaded it up in her car but didn't tell me. So I ran, and then I come back, and I can't get it locked. I'm just freaking out. It's like 1 a.m, losing my mind, running around. Finally, I do find my iPhone, and it's like pinging this right behind the GN. So I go and look. There's my mom's car. I'm like, what in the? You already told me you didn't have it.
She was just being a mom.
It was, yeah.
Thanks, Mother.
She probably didn't know whose coat was it. She said, I'll just pick this up. Somebody'll be looking for it later.
She get there. She goes, I even got your chicken nuggets or your chicken strips. I was like, hey, I didn't even get to eat supper either. Now I'm pissed. I was pretty mad. Then we go to just have an after party in here, just with a few buddies is what we thought. And by the time I get here, there's 40 fucking people in my garage that I didn't invite.
It was a little too much.
It was insane.
Too many people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stopped by. It was, a little too many people for us.
I left my own party. I think that I It's been a long time since I took off out of my own party and like, fuck this.
Not unless you were leaving with some random girl or something. Then, then you can leave your own party.
If I did that,
that hasn't happened for a long time.
Carol would catch me before I hit to the gate. I'm sure.
Yeah, not now.
Not now. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's been a while since I was like, you know what? I'm getting the hell out of here.
No, comedy show is good. Need to plan another one here sometime.
I'm working on a couple other things. I want to do another one. The next one I do, I kind of want to do like a double show, but not just in Malta. I want to do one out of town too. I'm kind of working with a buddy. I might do something maybe over in Helena, and then do one along the way this way. And
no, I like this. It was a little different. It was more the whose line sort of thing, and I thought that was. It's good to have something a little different.
Well, exactly. It wasn't just straight stand up like I've done in the past. And you can. Thing is there's tons of great stand up comedians that we can get up here. Problem is a lot of stand up comedians, came from kind of like an urban environment. And sometimes it's tough to pick the right ones that might not piss off the local folk.
It is hard. I remember years ago we were all sitting in the Stockman, and Bush was the president. And, of course, comedians, they got their own sense of humor. And the guy made a comment about old President Bush, and then...
Well, he said, why didn't Bush jump in his Ford pickup and row that fucker over to Iraq and fight that war himself? Or so he was talking
Pretty
about.
Pretty soon, there's a guy in the crowd wanting to fight, and the guy's just trying to be funny, do a job up there, and some people just take it too serious.
Because even at this one, somebody yelled when the black guy was up there.
Yeah,
and it happens to be another we only have 2 black guys in Malta anyway. It happens to be another. Or one of our resident black people.
I had to run back there and be like, that was Hector. Yeah. Okay, don't go shooting anybody in the crowd.
It got real quiet and everybody's oh, wow.
And you could tell Will was pissed for a second. He just looks. They finally, he's like, don't be doing that, man. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, you get what you get. But no, it was a great comedy show. I think there was nobody there that did not enjoy it.
Yeah, I never had anybody come up and tell me, hey, the show sucked, which that's always a plus, Yeah. They went a little off script at the end, so I wasn't quite ready. Normally I jump up on stage, and thank my sponsors and whatnot, and they skipped one of their last bits, and I'm trying to follow it along because I'm playing all the music and DJing and doing it all at once, and Lou's like, I was waiting for this last bit, and he goes, no, we scrapped that one. I'm like, shit, I don't have any of my notes or nothing to jump up here, so I just grabbed them, hey, thanks everybody, and everybody's all running out the door to the bar already, so.
No, and I think they had a good time afterwards. They all showed up at the bar, tied one on, I think, and...
For sure. They like to party in Malta.
Went home hungover like normal. That's good.
I know. They text me every time. They're like, you asshole. I never get this drunk. But that was a fun show, man.
You get that a lot. People come to Malta and I've never been here before, and they're doing something here for a weekend. And then you talk to them next time. Fuck, I've never been so hungover in my life.
What do you do here? You drink. That's what, that's they go to
you guys can party hard. Well, we have long winters. So we're seasoned.
That's no shit.
Speaking of fucking Montarctica, we went through January at 50-some degrees in January. Now we get February and it's fucking 50 below. We've been just getting drilled with cold weather lately.
I don't know what we had, 7 or 10 days maybe where it didn't get above zero in the daytime. It was a little ridiculous.
I went skiing last week and it was 10 below zero on the mountain. And don't get me wrong, it was fun because I went because I knew there was going to be good snow. But my fucking face was so numb, and I kept getting. I got a couple of those face mask things, or a few of them. You go 2 runs and the thing is just frozen from all the condensation of your breath. I mean, frozen. So you go to the truck and switch it out, and
that's why I was kind of glad because you wanted to have a podcast 2 weeks ago.
I know.
I'm glad that you were sick and I was sick because I didn't really want to be in here when it was 30 below.
Oh, that sickness was hell. Man, it sucked.
Yeah, and you're a sick bastard for wanting to do a podcast at 22 below zero. I got off of work from working out in this shit. I just want to go home and be warm.
Yeah. Well, and I was telling you guys before you got in here, I've been, since I do most of my graphic design stuff, a lot of times during the summer I work out here in the garage, but I just figure there's no sense of running the heater like crazy to sit out here when I got a perfectly good desk in the house. So I've been working in the house. I haven't been out here forever, out in this little studio, but I need a little better, more efficient heating system and probably take the air conditioner out the window.
Jesus, yeah.
That would probably help, but
shove a piece of insulation.
I have a piece cut for it and everything too. I'm too short to reach it. I don't.
Short people problems.
Yeah. So, You know, before we do a podcast, we always kind of ask, well, what should we talk about? And of course, the one thing Shane calls me about, some fucking venereal disease from over in Vietnam back in the 60s. He's like, oh, you know what we got to talk about tonight? It's blackjack. I was like, what the fuck's blackjack? He's like, oh, it's where your dick turns black. It's going to fall off. And if you didn't get it, or if you get it, they just send you to this concentration camp and let you just rot away till you die because you don't want to pass it on or whatever.
That's my fault, though.
In my defense.
Well, not, you know.
Brett was
how this all started, I'll tell you.
at a local tavern south of town.
I met this guy, which there's only like a couple of us in there, so you know I buy the guy a drink and like he's, you know, and then he buys one back. So I introduce myself and we get to talking and then he starts telling me stories about being in Vietnam, and he's telling me that when he first got there, that they tell you don't get with the Vietnamese prostitutes. Because you'll get what I think he called it. I think he said black dick is what he said. I'm not sure, but he thought it was some like strain of AIDS or something. But he goes, when he showed up there was guys that evidently had it, and there's no cure in the U.S. for it. So they literally were like in a prison camp there, and they wouldn't let these U.S. soldiers come back. They told their families and stuff that they were like MIA or something.
So after Shane called me and told me about this, I went to the internet to find out what the fuck it is.
Look at pictures.
It's a form of syphilis.
Well, no, listen. Here's a story from a Vietnam guy. It says I was in shortly after Vietnam ended. Black clap was a story used to scare new guys, sort of a joke. They tell them there was this strain of clap that was so bad that the only thing the doctors could do to your junk was smash it with a hammer to get rid of it.
Jesus.
Other stories that your junk would turn black and there was no cure for it, so they'd ship you off to an island like a leper colony, and you stayed there until you died. Remember, we're talking about 18, 19-year-old kids who in many cases had never left their little towns, were terrified and gullible. And it was on Reddit, so he says, I'm not doing an AMA on there. Anyway, and then the other guy goes, I'm not a Vietnam vet, but my dad is. Black clap was definitely just a made-up thing to try and scare GIs away from all the sex workers in Vietnam.
See, it might have been. But...
And STDs have apparently been a huge problem since the military, as long as STIs have existed, which obviously makes a ton of sense. Look up U.S. military VD propaganda and enjoy. By World War III, they'll just have daily text reminders straight to service members that say, please stop fucking people. Oh my God, your dick is going to fall off. We are sick and goddamn tired of paying for your illegitimate babies all over the world and penicillin.
Well, but
so I believe that it's probably a thing, but
black syphilis
a lot of asshole upper servicemen just ran with it even worse and freaked guys out.
Like this guy said, it was just they told you when you got there not to the Vietnamese girls. They didn't say anything about the other countries, you know, because he said it was just them. And I don't know whether he ever seen anybody. But the way the military is, how do you know? You know, I really wouldn't doubt it either. That they just, I don't know.
Well, and then the other thing,
he went missing in war.
You know what I read too is that black syphilis is a real disease, which is incurable, and it sounds like it's pretty fucked, but it's predominantly into the Eastern Asia parts of the world. But yeah, like Bret said, I wouldn't put it past the U.S. government to say, all right, we got this disease and these fuckbags are going to bring it back over. I mean,
these guys are just humping.
It sucks that we're over here fighting for our country, and now we got to keep them here because their dick's about to fall off.
and I think that was one of the things that it said. It might have been the scare deal, but they said your dick will fall off.
Smash it with a hammer. That's the only way to cure it.
I don't know how that cures anything.
I don't. Yeah, what's that?
Then you just got a messed up dick like Shane's, probably.
I've smashed my thumbs how many times with a hammer, and every now and again I still do it every once in a while, and it's not like it cured me from doing it the first time.
You don't want to know what hurts just about as bad as smashing your hand with a hammer, and I did it today.
My feelings when I hang out with you guys.
Yeah, that too. No,
but those aren't real.
Obviously it's fucking cold out right now, and I got a freezer in my garage that's unheated. I mean, the freezer.
Most freezers are
I know, but the garage is unheated. So anyway,
worst freezer I've ever had.
I know, yeah. Just turn it off. It works. No, and when you're loading like big frozen blocks of roast in there, and one falls from the top of another thing and smashes on your thumb, that is a fucking pain.
Well,
It's
in the cold weather.
That's what I mean. Your hands are already frozen and hurting, and then
I
wham!
I actually did it today too. And
God, that sucks.
It's like you didn't hit it that hard, but in the cold weather, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts bad.
Maybe you guys should do some more manly stuff once in a while with your hands. They wouldn't fucking hurt.
Like smash them with hammers.
I don't know.
Is that
yeah. I guess.
Shane does it on purpose just to prove he's a man. Leave some calluses on there.
Yes, just to blacken my fingernail. Like, I smashed this working.
Yeah,
Lets the air out of his tire just so he has something to do to change it during a day. I seen that Snapchat the other day.
No, nobody wants to change a fucking tire at 27 below zero. That was fucking miserable.
I don't care what you like. Anything below zero, it just sucks. But you get to that
No.
fucking 20 below zero to and plus, like that's just goddamn ridiculous.
You know what's sad is the other day, a week ago or so, I was sitting outside on my break having a smoke. One of my coworkers standing there, and I looked at him and said, "Man, it is nice out. Sun shining, no wind." It was one above.
Yeah.
We've been below zero for so goddamn long that one above felt nice.
One above with no wind is not that bad. You know, I mean, most people think that's colder than hell, but if you don't have a wind, it's tolerable.
There were portions during that day of skiing that like the wind was blowing so hard to blow the snow off the tops of the trees that it looked like a cloud just coming over the top of the mountain, and it wasn't a cloud; it was just the snow. And then there were other portions of the day where it would stop, and the sun was out, and like the difference from not having the wind and just having that sun hit you, like you went from I can actually pull my face mask and my goggles off for a second, and if not, it was just bitter cold, but goddamn, it was fun.
Pretty good snow up there, was there? Or?
Awesome.
Yeah,
it was.
Step there,
just
shred,
not
shredding
a lot of people though, or
No, there wasn't. Well, because it was so cold. I never waited in a lift line all day long. Like you'd ski in, jump on the lift, and take off.
Everybody else, like nobody else is
He
stupid
didn't
enough
have
to
to
be
wait.
there.
He didn't have to wait in a lift line because he was with the Boy Scouts. He just shoved him out of the way.
I didn't go with the Boy Scouts this time.
way.
They postponed that one, so we just went to Bear Paw. Just Noah and Jake Hanley and I and my kid Braden. Man, we had a blast though.
Remember when he said, "Hey, I'll get a hold of you on Saturday and see if you want to go." Thanks for getting a hold of me.
I knew you'd flake out, so I didn't want to get my hopes up.
He was probably doing manly stuff.
You can go the next time if you think.
I
you
was
want to.
doing manly stuff. I was working on tow trucks and such.
They do have a pretty nice new rental shop there in Havre now too, that you can go up and just rent your skis or snowboard or whatever you want from there and head up, and it's cheap. Shit, the rental for Braden was $15, I think.
Oh,
The lift ticket's $20. I think I spent like $60 total.
yeah, that ain't bad
And that's
at all.
with food and everything. Man, that's what it costs to take your kids to the fucking sleep in Buffalo.
Shane just left us.
Just bailed on the podcast. I don't know. I kind of got P2. Let's take a quick break.
Too. We might as well.
All right, we're back. We over the break, I'd seen a internet meme talking about Roomba vacuums, and I got one. And anyway, if nobody knows, they're a little robot.
That's not on the list.
It's not, but I'll go with it anyway. It's a robotic vacuum, and I was saying that I got mine at a garage sale. And it's worth its freaking weight in gold. But this meme says the Roomba's wandering around the room, goes in the corner, and knocks the broom over, and goes, "Easy there, little buddy. You already got the job." It says, well, we were talking about having electric lawnmowers. I have an electric weed eater, and I have an old, like, a really nice Husqvarna weed eater, too. That electric one beats it up all day long. And the nice thing is you walk in and you just grab it, just do your little weed eating. You don't have to fucking tug on it and get it started or...
You gotta love the smell of that two-stroke.
Oh, I
and
do.
Jerking on that cord for fucking 10
And after
minutes
it's all
before
over
it
your pants
starts.
and all over, you fucking don't walk away reeking like gas.
And I think they're better now, but it was, 10 years ago, a two-stroke was, it didn't seem like you could get them started, I mean, and I think now they're better, carburetor-wise and
I
everything.
got a pretty nice little two-stroke leaf blower that works pretty good, but same thing. I've held one of the electric ones now, and it's fucking 15 pounds lighter than that gas one is.
Too,
and like my weed eater, you could weed eat all day with that thing if you want it. I mean, how light it is.
What bolt is that? Is that pretty?
I want to say it's 40, 20 or 40, but it works plenty good for everything I do.
24.
It might be that. Mine's just a cheap Toro one from our local Harbor Hank here, and they make like the industrial ones too. But this one on one charge, and I got a fairly big yard, for a town yard. It'll do all my fences all the way around and everything all the way back before it dies.
Yeah,
and then I charge it. It works fucking awesome.
The one my parents have, will do their entire yard, and their fucking yard is
That's a big
ridiculous.
yard.
It is.
I mean, that's a fucking acre of yard, and how many trees and shit they got to do.
Dude, I'm telling you, electric technology is getting cool.
It is.
That new the new Tesla that they're supposed to be coming out, 0 to 60 in 1.6 seconds. Isn't that fucking
that's
insane?
crazy. There's no with electric. There's no lag or nothing.
No, it's
it's
go.
instant.
No gears to shift. No nothing.
You know, if it's 500 horse or whatever, it's 500 horse now. It's not.
Well, that's this new Tesla. They said it's going to beat, which they're planning on coming out with it. I think he said 2020 when I was listening to the last podcast. But it's the newest Roadster or whatever, the supercar. They said there won't be a supercar on the planet that can touch it.
Well, and I see
and it's electric. And I mean, there's not one built right now that'll even come close to it.
Speaking of supercars, so I get to go to Vegas here in a few weeks, and Amanda's work is paying for us to go do some shit like go not skydiving, but go zip lining or drive supercars and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they're gonna pay for me to go drive either a Lamborghini or Ferrari or something. That's gonna be pretty fucking cool. Just to go tear the shit out of a car that I do not own.
Yeah,
But
that will be pretty fun.
I imagine they're governed or something. They just can't let them be wide open.
Dude, there's ones where you can go like drive the NASCAR and that kind of shit.
Yeah,
experience.
but they also like when you go do that NASCAR experience, you also can't go faster than 130 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But
And I think a lot of it they make you do. You know, it's going to be like a 4-hour school probably.
yeah, I got to do 2.5
Bunch
hours,
of-
2.5 hours of fucking school, and then go
You're-
drive for 30 minutes or something.
He's
like
going to
that.
flunk out and not be able to drive.
No, yeah.
The first thing they do is breathalyze you. So
Oh, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're not making that one.
yeah,
No.
fuck.
That'd be kind of a fun trip.
Vegas
huh?
at 10 in the morning, you're still blowing too much.
Yeah, that's. She's gonna have to stay sober for a full day.
Yeah, that's not happening.
This is bullshit.
So I shouldn't tell this on myself, but god damn it, this was terrible. Last night I had pool leagues, and I've been sick, like I said, for a week and a half. I shot like dog shit last night, and the first time I went out, this is the first time I've had a drink in 2-3 weeks. We're shooting. I get to my last game, and Zano on my team walks up to me, and goes, "Hey, I got his tip off his stick. His stick tip fell off, and he grabbed
Oh,
it."
shit.
And I'm playing, and of course I can't get an angle on my ball. I line him up perfect for his 2 balls only, and I get beat with the guy without a tip on his fucking stick. I was miserable. I come home, Carol goes, "Why you smell like booze?" I go, because I got pissed after I took a couple shots of tequila. I was legitimately as mad as I've ever been at my pool game last night.
I was wondering.
Like, who loses to the guy with no fucking tip? I should have just grabbed my own broomstick. Like, normally I shoot pretty good, but
I figured I was asking Shane earlier. I'm like, Rhodes probably had pool last night. 'Cause I think last time we were here, you had pool the night
Yeah, I was
before.
hungover.
And
Yeah,
you were
but-
still hungover.
I actually
yeah.
felt good
he had to
today.
he had to do a makeup game, didn't he?
I
that
don't
night?
know, but it was pool. I know that. And
Because
he
he's
was-
like,
he
"Oh,
was-
we'll
he's
do
like,
it at 8."
"Oh."
Yeah, I'll be over
$10:30.
it.
At 10:30,
Yeah.
we're finally getting after.
Yeah.
it.
no, and I was hungover because we played 2 games in a row. Was what it was. I drank the night before and then the next night too, and I'm glad Shane's taking some pictures because we didn't forget that. For
Not
cover.
good. Not good for 2 in a row anymore. Huh? Old age is
Man.
catching it up.
Well, now that I did that kombucha cleanse, maybe I can handle it. I woke up today without a hangover. Do you guys' legs or ever ache, like your knees ache after you drank a bunch?
All the time.
Is it okay? I was wondering if
It's-
I'm the only freak or what, but like apparently it's lactic acid. I looked
Lactic
it up.
acid,
Same
yeah.
thing as like when you work out. But even if I just go out and have a 6-pack or whatever, sometimes I'll wake up the next morning not hungover one bit, but my fucking knee will just ache. Like it feels deep in the bones.
It's not from giving the old lady a good night. Or,
No, not last night. It
no.
wasn't. She,
The good old
Don't kiss
Roger.
me, you smell like booze.
Ooh,
Well, that's tequila, honey.
know-
Let me make a burrito.
She should be fine with the
I
tequila.
love it. I love it when I come home and
Feeling
after-
all romantic, and she's not.
after a night of being out with the boys or whatever. I mean, I used to drink a lot of Bacardi and Coke, and I quit drinking it. I was getting bad heartburn, and feeling like shit from all the Coke. So I went back to beer, and for like 3 months, anytime I'd go out, the wife would be, "Oh my God, you reek of rum and Coke. You just reek of rum and Coke." I didn't drink rum at all. All I've had is just beer. And then she'd just get mad at me. "No, you didn't. You drank rum." Holy fuck. Now you're just wanting to get mad at me over what I drank when I told you I drank beer? But yeah.
Oh yeah, I woke up this morning and I roll over to try and love on her a little bit. She's like, "You smell like booze." Yeah, I do.
If it's tequila, I'm surprised she didn't
What?
try to suck it out of your
I
stomach.
know. Why do you-
Smell
go
like
get-
trout.
Why do you go get drunk like that? Well, because it's fun. I don't know. I don't that often, really. I mean, I don't really go get hammered often.
I'm a slow learner.
I work at a bar. Yeah, I don't know. That's got to be it. You would think after you get if you've had a bad hangover, what makes you want to go fucking do that again? And I mean, like, the older I am now, the worse the hangovers are by a long ways.
But it's like 2 days later, it's like I forgot all about it.
Exactly. Let's just go out and have 10 more shots. Well, the worst one here, and I haven't thrown up from booze in a long time, but here, before I got sick, so this is like 3 weeks ago, our pool team, we go out. Normally the bartender knows that, like, I'll drink either like whiskey water or my beer, and then if the team orders shots, I usually just shoot straight Cuervo, and I feel pretty good about it the next day, or even just a whiskey. But Zane kept getting this, or Trenton kept getting this fucking Apple Crown, and I'm telling you, I've never felt worse. I literally woke myself up with the headache that I had. Woke me up. I wasn't ready to be up yet, but I wake up from the headache, get up, go to the bathroom, and my head's pounding so hard that I gotta throw up because the headache's so bad. And I threw up from booze that night, and I'm like, no more fucking sweet shit. I swear it makes it worse. And maybe it's in my head. Maybe I just drank more than I normally do. But
I quit drinking that rum and coke because fuck the sugars and the sweet.
yeah, I don't. I
My
usually drink whiskey
hangovers are
water. If I'm,
violent.
But it could have been, you might have had one more shot than you normally. That's
yeah.
That
that
doesn't take much.
I was listening to this.
I don't know when I get older, man. I used to be able to wake up and start drinking.
That's
but,
why I quit doing shots altogether.
Yeah, I know.
Like
Yeah, you can't even force one down your throat.
People will buy them, and I'm like, go ahead. I'm going to throw it on the floor. No, you won't. I'm like, watch me. I don't care. I'm not drinking it.
Every now and again, I'll throw down something, just a couple of them, like a
I like tequila for some reason. Like I just do.
cheesy chick shot or something.
For a
like
long
that. I'll
time,
have
I didn't
one or
like
two
it,
of them,
and like I like being a bartender. I kind of got to taste a lot of the shots, just to know if they're gonna be fucking good or not. Yeah, I mean, not like while I'm bartending, but like if I'm out.
That's nice of you. You test the booze for everybody.
Well, yeah,
before.
you got to. Well, I don't want to be like, hey guys, this shot's delicious.
Yeah.
I've never tried it.
Yeah.
Like they ask, what's it like? I can go, well, it's sweet, or it's not quite as sweet.
It's like going to a restaurant. What do you suggest we eat?
I consider myself good at it.
Fuck,
I mean,
I
like
haven't
if you
eaten
want to get down to like brass tacks of actual bartending skill, which in Malta you don't have to use a lot of it, like because mostly it's pretty fucking simple.
Yeah.
Whiskeys and booze, but like actually making a mixed drink, or like if somebody came in and ordered, a fancy whatever, I usually know how to make them. Like, I mean, I've studied, I've actually put extra time in to fucking learn them, and I can flip bottles if I have to or want to, but it ain't, in Malta, it doesn't do you nothing. Everybody's like, give me my fucking beer.
Yeah. Nice
You're not in
90%.
Vegas.
Just back
You're not
there
in Vegas.
flipping drinks like he's Tom Cruise on the movie Cocktail.
I've never seen Cocktail. Every time I flip a bottle, they go, ooh, Cocktail. I was like, I've never watched it.
What?
I don't know if what year did it come out? I'm too fucking young. And I've never went back and watched it. I've never ever. I should probably go watch it, I guess.
That's not a bad show.
It is a good
really.
flick. I don't know. I'll look it up here.
What kills me is that you drink Jose too. That's like.
I honestly.
See, and to me, it's all tequila.
I like.
Don't get
me wrong. Patron goes down good.
It all tastes terrible.
That Herradura that's up there on the shelf, that was pretty good when we went through that. I like that actually maybe a little better than Patron. But for some reason I know like. It's kind of a weird thing. Tequila, and when I take a shot, boom, it's gone. I don't hardly, I always tell the bartender, don't overfill it past the shot line, because I don't want to gulp it twice.
That's too much, yeah.
I want to be able to just go, boom, gone. And if I can do that, I actually don't mind a little bit of warming feeling the tequila. It used to hit the bottom of my stomach, and I'd almost want to puke.
Yeah.
But for some reason now, that's my go-to. And honestly, if I shoot just tequila, if I don't get into the fucking sweet shit, the next day, I usually feel pretty good. I can use my hangover. I can recover from just fine. I can.
1988 Cocktail.
Yeah, so I would have been fucking 6. I wasn't watching. I mean, I probably was with my dad. My dad and I used to watch HBO all the time, laying on the floor late night. I don't know if he thought that I was sleeping or what, or if he was just giving me an education. But
he was watching the Skin of Flex
all night.
movies,
Yeah, no.
But like the tequila or anything, all of it, they're all terrible. All shots because they're warm.
Well, I like it.
I think shots should be.
I want it
if
in a
they're
cold
chilled,
shot glass.
they're
Yeah.
I mean.
Which at the mint, we freeze our shot glasses now.
Yeah.
So
Even
the tequila
like,
in a frozen shot glass, I'll let it sit for a couple seconds, and then it's
Chill
cold, and
down.
boom, it's good.
even
But-
like the Vegas bombs, what makes that bearable is that you got usually the Red Bulls on ice.
yeah.
If the Red Bull's warm,
Well, and the other
It's
two,
garbage.
the other two drinks that go in there, or the other two boozes other than the Crown, they're usually in the cooler too. So, and it's weird, like certain things, certain boozes. I mean, well, almost all booze is better cold, like ice cold. But you want to talk, you go to a different country, they like their shit warm in certain
Yeah.
places, like a beer
Even
warm.
beer and stuff.
There
yeah.
is no goddamn. I don't want a warm
No.
beer at all.
No.
Not since I was fucking 23. I don't think I've.
Even
I-
semi-warm, I can't.
Me neither.
It makes me gag.
I drank
It's
a-
just-
I'm like, why? I get heartburn
it's
too
like
easy if
foams,
it's shitty.
Too.
Yep.
It's like, I don't know.
I drank a Milwaukee's Best warm one time.
What were you doing in Glasgow?
No, it wasn't.
Old Mill.
It wasn't Old Mill. It was Milwaukee's Best. So
It's a beast.
a friend of ours, Dale, that we grew up with, we were living in Havre, and we come over to get something from his dad's house. And anyways, his dad's like, "You boys want a beer?" Yeah, shit, yeah, we'll take a beer. And he reaches in the back of his old Ford Bronco, and it's 90 fucking degrees out. And he pulls out a Milwaukee's Best, and it's not in a cooler. This shit's just been sitting in the back seat all day. And I truly love Dale's dad, George. What a fucking great man. But he hands me this beer, and it took me everything I had to do is choke it down. I wanted to just dump it out, but I couldn't dump
My
it
old
out.
Uncle Bub, same thing. I've been over to his house before, and he'd be like, "Well, I got one of these," and he, like pops a natty ice off a 6-pack that's been sitting next to him for 4 hours. I'm like, "You got a fridge 3 feet away.
That
You
was
should
the
fucking
most-
put that in the fridge."
But to this day, that was the most rancid thing I've ever tasted in my fucking life.
I doubt that.
Oh, I've drank-
You were,
yeah.
You were in prison, buddy. I doubt that.
I've drank some bad beers too. I don't.
See, but I don't care whether it's anything. I want it cold.
Yeah.
Water, soda pop, whatever.
I don't mind water being like. I got a water cooler, you know, and there's the cold on mine. There's cold, hot, and then there's just a room.
Lukewarm.
In the morning, sometimes I kind of like it's not even lukewarm. It's still pretty. It sits next to my front door, so it's still pretty cold, you know. But it's not like the ice cold. In the morning, sometimes the ice cold. I don't want to brain freeze before I go take my morning shit. So I'll just get a cup of the regular stuff. But
Who the fuck drinks water in the morning?
what do you drink in the morning?
Coffee
Well, me too. After I have some water,
all day.
I usually have water, go take my shit, then have some coffee or an energy drink.
See, usually coffee before, you know, that usually
No, that's the second shit. I gotta.
work up to that one.
Yeah, I do. I've got a high metabolism. I always have. I'll poop 40 times a day if I'm doing a kombucha cleanse, like I said.
Irregular.
Here we go again to poop talk, like always.
Well,
We always just go to left field.
Yeah.
And
needless to say, if you guys are going to start drinking kombucha and you've never drank it before, drink like 4 ounces a day to start with, not 30. My body is cleansed right now. This is the first time in a long. I weigh 155 pounds right now. That's the lightest I've been in 3-4 years, I bet.
Do primates get colds?
I don't know. They got to, don't they? Dogs will catch a sickness.
I would assume so. Yeah, that's it.
I
Well, we know they got AIDS.
I know animals get sick. But does Bigfoot
When
just
your
get a fucking
Get the
Headache.
sniffles.
when your
sniffle?
dog's throwing up in the yard, is it the flu, or did he just eat a bunch of grass and shit, or do they actually catch a sickness?
good question? No, that was one of my thoughts.
Google it. What do you guys think about? Do you suppose any of the mythical creatures are real? Do you suppose
Yes.
there's a chance? I mean, like Bigfoot. There used to be this ape called Gigantopithecus that was like 10 feet tall. They found some teeth of it, stuff that over in Asia. This is like
You mean Bigfoot?
10,000 years ago. Yeah, well, Bigfoot may not be around anymore. If it is, somebody's seen Shane walking in the fucking woods. But,
No.
I mean, I think there's a possibility, maybe. But I don't know. I feel like we would have caught one by now.
My brother's daughter, my brother Dylan, his daughter is dead set. There is really a Bigfoot. I just discovered that today.
You remember not too long ago out in Hazer Lodgepole, somebody was walking around with big Bigfoot shoes on, hoaxing everybody?
Oh,
It was actually hitting the news that they thought there was a Bigfoot sighting out there because there's
you see
footprints.
that every so often.
And somebody,
Somebody
they
does
finally came clean, I think.
But
that
you
there
think
was-
of it. You think about it. North America, South America, Africa, Asia. Okay, so South America in Africa, they got primates, right? Of some sort.
Oh, yeah.
There's a monkey of some
You know
sort
why
in
we don't
South
have any?
America.
It's 30 fucking below outside.
Well, then we should abominable snowman. Then.
I know,
We
yeah.
should have
Yeti.
Yeah, the Yeti. Yeah.
Fucking A.
Some guy's claiming
So-
that he found Yeti hair here recently, too. I looked this up
So-
after we talked about
So then you get into Africa, they got primates. Asia, Eastern Asia, they got the orangutan.
Well, and if there was a land bridge back in the day, that some had to walk across.
Yeah.
Boom, there you go.
But there's only a few dumb enough primates to stay here. Like, only like 2,000
No.
of us
No.
that are dumb enough primates to stay in this fucking weather.
And I don't want to sound like I'm getting racial on colors and ethnicities and stuff like that, but you look at the primates in South America, and they're not totally dark haired, like they look like the native people of South America. When you see the monkeys or whatever they got down there, Africa, they got the great ape.
I don't know if this is scientific facts or not,
They-
but
this is me.
Did you say the grape ape?
The
grape ape,
the
grape
ape,
ape,
grape
grape ape.
the great ape or the silverback gorilla, which is pretty dark complected, like a lot of the people through the African continent, and then you get over into the Asia.
So you're saying Bigfoot's going to be white? Is that where you're going with this?
Hold on, and then you get over into the Asia. You get over into Asia, and you got the orangutan, and the orangutan color is a little more towards the
Orange, they got hair like me.
fuck, this sounds awful, but more like the complexion of the Asians. So here we get up into, let's go Northern Europe. There's not a primate, but you get into Siberia and Northern Russia, and them motherfuckers are pasty white.
So looking at you, we should have red ass baboons here.
Them motherfuckers are pasty white up there. So why do they not have a abominable snowman? You get over into North America, where Native Americans were originally.
Because here, rabbits change colors.
So
I mean,
Does
Bigfoot
Bigfoot
might be
change
white, right?
colors?
Bigfoot goes from Bigfoot to Yeti
Yeah.
in the breaks, I suppose. I don't know.
So why the fuck can't we have a primate? Everybody else has one. Why can't we?
Well, because I think it's illegal. I don't know if it's. I don't think you can just go have one.
We're not owning it.
I mean, it's
why
about
can't-
like out south, they're wanting to have buffalo now. I don't like.
why can't we? Why can't primates be indigenous to North America?
You know, they're saying that a lot of big cats may have been indigenous up here back in the day, and they're talking about like that they should reintroduce them. And there's, I mean, like the problem is so many cats were hunted now. You know, your cougars have raced off to the mountains and stuff. Well, like even bears used to be a prairie animal.
Well,
That's
yeah.
why they're so fucking fast on their feet. They'd have to run down antelope or whatever, but they hunted them so bad that now that they've ran to the hills and hid out. But I don't know.
I just think that like I think that somebody would have seen Bigfoot. I mean, like like
People have.
Yeah, but I mean, like the U.S. is so more populated everywhere. Like you get to Africa and there's a lot of just forests that nobody ever goes.
There's a lot of populated areas too.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, yeah, you watch like some of those lion hunts. So there's people everywhere at those, but I feel like Glasgow is close to the most desolate place on earth. So I mean, you want to talk, but there ain't nothing out here. There's no shelter. There ain't
because
no.
it's fucking America.
And you
Somebody
can't-
would have killed one by now.
You're right. Yeah. What are you gonna? So tell me, if you see Bigfoot, are you shooting? Or are you just gonna photograph it? Or are you gonna? Would you be?
No.
Would you feel bad if you dropped the only Bigfoot left?
There was a dude who actually supposedly shot Bigfoot, and he told some people in town and let the sheriff's department know. Within like 24 hours, FBI were at his porch confiscating. This is before cell phones. They were confiscating cameras, everything. I mean, whether it's true or not,
Allegedly.
I don't know. Allegedly.
We just spew facts all the time on this podcast that we have no clue if they're any fucking where close. But there was a dude that I can't remember what happened, but he'd this is fairly recently. He had shot Bigfoot, claimed he had it in his freezer, and had it was like all this hair and everything. Well, it turned out that I think there was still an animal that he wrapped up in it, but he wrapped up an animal in a fucking gorilla suit and froze the fucking thing. Like, dude, people are just nuts over.
I love the things where they're like, maybe Bigfoot is just blurry, so all the, it's not that they took a bad picture, it's just Bigfoot's blurry in real life.
Yeah, just blurry Bigfoot.
I still love Joe Rogan. There's only, what do you say? The people that go look for for Bigfoot are unfuckable white dudes.
Joe was talking about it on his podcast yesterday. This black guy because Joe's telling this story about the guy asks, well, how do you go get an elk? And Joe tells, well, you got to get a tag, and then you go out and you either shoot a buck or a doe, whatever you got the tag for. And
a bull or a cow.
he's talking. He goes into buck and doe is what he's talking about because it's talking about deer after that. And then he goes, well, what do you do with it there? Do you just pack the thing out, or what? He goes, well, you got to have you carry the tag, you carry the proper paperwork. Sometimes you drop it off at a butcher, sometimes you cut it up yourself and whatever. And then they go into the story about Bigfoot, and the guy goes, you know what, Joe? Not a single one of my friends could tell me that. Not a single one of my boys could tell me how to go get an elk and how to fucking kill one, how to skin it out and how to put it in your freezer and bring it across state lines and everything. And he goes, and there ain't none of my buddies out there looking for Bigfoot. Which is the truth. I mean, it's the fucking truth. It's the crazy thing about America is, like, you can't be racist. Everybody, like, there's different traits, though. I mean, and part of it's probably because you grew up in an urban area or you didn't, but there's certain things that are definitely a majority. I mean, like, go to a NASCAR, there's certain things that people are into. And it's weird that we got to tiptoe around all of it being American because you don't want to be racist by saying anything like that, It's not like a hate crime. It's not like you're hating on people for saying that certain traits are certain traits. Right. Like, that's the crazy thing to me is that we've gotten so far off track of trying to not offend anybody that we want to say that our traits are all the same now, and they're not even fucking close for certain things. And
it's not even the traits. It's whatever you're into. Like you said, NASCAR. What do you associate with NASCAR?
Well, yeah,
just a bunch of backwoods redneck hillbillies. Yeah. But I know a lot of people that are into NASCAR that are
me
like
too.
bankers and lawyers and very educated people. And same way with dirt bikes. And I guess with every sport,
it's just stereotypes. But stereotypes they're kind of there. Cause, I mean, they became a stereotype because that's the way stuff.
Yeah.
That's the way it was. Though, yeah. NFL and stuff like that, especially the NFL. Man, so many people follow that sport. But I don't know what it was, but a few years ago there was more people at Daytona 500 than at the Super Bowl. I mean, it's just whatever you're into, different strokes for different folks, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, Daytona 500 is a huge thing. That's
maybe a race car
ticket.
ticket's probably a little cheaper than a football ticket.
The Super Bowl, I'm sure. Yeah.
If you ask me, real racers turn left and right
and jump
and do other things. Yeah, no, I like all kinds of motorsports. Don't get me wrong, but some just aren't fully meant to be a spectator sport. Like they are, they aren't.
Shane's got to pee again. Jesus Christ, you're getting old.
Prostate acting up.
Something.
All right, we'll pause for you. Hold on.
Tell us about mines.
All right, we're back, and before we were talking about different motorsports and spectator sports stuff, but it's been a while, so we sat. Shane had a cigarette. We all went pee. By now, we probably all got to pee again.
We lost all train of thought.
We lost all train of thought, but Shane was asking about this thing that I'd wrote down earlier, and I'd heard it on Rogan's podcast. He had a guy on there that runs this new social media network called Minds.com. And it's really similar to Facebook, Instagram-like thing. And it's a new social media. It runs off the blockchain like cryptocurrency, the way that like...
you lost me already.
Well, I know.
Because I'm confused by all that,
So what it is, though, is like you would use a certain amount of the cryptocurrency. So like if I wanted to get 1,000 views, I'd spend one of these Minds coin.
You got to buy your views?
No, you don't necessarily have to. You can
you're
still
buying friends.
No. It's just like Facebook.
You want to take us out for beers too?
If on Facebook you want to advertise, you pay for it. Like if I'm advertising my comedy show, I pay for it just like I would a radio ad or a newspaper ad.
Whoa! I shared that, and you didn't pay me anything.
That's different. No, but if you want to advertise, is the same thing on this. Only you can use this cryptocurrency. The thing with these guys is they're not selling your privacy the way that Facebook and so if you don't want to see ads. all you got to do, like you upgrade to this little, they call it a premium user or whatever, and you won't see any ads. So, like on Facebook, some days you'll get on it and all you see is just like Amazon, like all this other shit thrown at you, or even if something local.
Does it cost you to upgrade it then, or what?
It'll cost you like one token or whatever, or one of the tokens. But you can also earn the tokens by posting valuable content. So, like, if we were to upload the podcast and 20,000 people like it, and they want to throw a few coins at it, then we got credits. So it's kind of it's sort of a brilliant little thing, and not many people are using it yet. But I got on there and the other day, and I started like it's kind of like Instagram, where like usernames or something. Like, eventually down the road, like if you had the username that was just sex or whatever, it would be worth money on Instagram or Twitter or something if you were the guy that held that or that domain name type thing. And this is the same thing. So I got on there and I started thinking of like a few domain names or like usernames that would be a popular grab. So it's new enough. I went on and I grabbed like 4 or 5 pretty fucking solid, what I think will be good usernames, whether I end up deciding to post to them or not. Automatically, if somebody searches like
what
luxury cars or custom motorcycles or whatever it is that I grab, that will be the first thing to pop up because mine's the first username on it. So I mean, there's kind of a chance that.
So you grab like Big Black Dick or something like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Ginge nuts.
No. What did you grab then? Could you tell us, or what's?
I got a few that were. I did. Gosh, what all did I? Which obviously I went and locked down Montarctica. Yeah. I locked down my name, like so on a lot of them. Like if you get on Instagram, most of the time you get on maybe not Bret Peigneux, but if you're Shane Carnahan or Travis Rhodes, your name's probably already gone by the time you get on there.
Yeah.
So I locked down
mine's still there.
My regular name, in Montarctica, and then there was simple ones that was like, God, I can't even remember what they are unless I got my notebook in front of me because I just literally like put them in.
Pretty memorable anyway. Then they must be good.
Very well. One was literally one.
Somebody's gonna want them someday.
Literally one was just luxury cars.
Yeah.
Like I was just looking at certain things, like ones that went high on Instagram.
How was that not taken? Luxury cars.
Exactly. So that wasn't. The other one was like. God.
What even made you think?
I want to say it was like
luxury.
Who's
cars?
this?
I want to say it was one of the ones like motorcycle porn, which is a huge fucking hashtag on Instagram.
Yeah.
Motorcycle porn.
Yeah. So you look it up, and it's cool. Cool
it's just
pictures.
motorcycles having sex with each other.
Yeah.
Tailpiping it. Yeah. It's just like cool video, or cool like.
Some asshole stole porn.
But there's a bunch of them. I got just plain old Cafe Racer, just flat the name Cafe, which is you go on
motorcycle.
I know, yeah.
But if you go on Instagram and Cafe Racer
hashtag Cafe Racer.
There's a
everywhere.
fucking like almost 1 billion hits.
Yeah.
It's usually a bunch of hipsters.
So
with their pants
exactly.
rolled up,
So I started like. And I think I got 8 of them total after I finally decided to quit. Like,
so you had to buy them?
No. You just sign up. It's just like Facebook. You just go and sign up. But just like Instagram, like I got Montarctica and then I got my Fast Moto X and whatever. Oh, I got Whiskey Throttle. Like normally before I'd have to go get Whiskey Throttle and I'd have to put a 1 where the L is because somebody's already had Whiskey Throttle. So I got the actual, but like ones that I feel like. Eventually, are going to be things that people will search for, whether I use it or whether this site blows up at all.
See, I never even heard of it.
It's new. It's new as shit.
Shane hadn't either, I take it.
There's a million.
Yeah.
I want to say that he said there's 1 million users, and about a quarter of the users right now are actually active. So it's fucking brand new. But now that he's on Rogan's podcast, you know that certain people are going to start.
Yeah, it's going to blow up.
Whether that ever takes off far enough.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But
it's about like being on this podcast. Shit, everybody heard of us, but then we brought Bret on here, and they're like, "Who's this Bret?"
After I was on here last time, I mean.
Oh, by the way, folks, Bret now has a Facebook page.
Even though we didn't do an episode between the last month and a half or whatever it's been, we still get anywhere between 20 to 50 downloads a day, even without even producing new content. And then people start going back and listening to the old ones. But then you produce a new one and it'll go strong for it'll peak. Usually the day the day or the next day it peaks big time and then it'll just slowly taper off. But almost no matter what over the last year, I've always got at least 20 to 50 downloads a day.
See it after I was on last time. Now everybody knows me. I'm walking down the street in Malta. Everybody's like, "Hey, Bret," and maybe it's just because they know me before, but
Well,
it might
no,
be.
it's got to be
I
the
don't know.
podcast fan.
That's what I'm saying.
So on a random note, or something different, can I switch topics a second?
Yeah, since you're laughing at that, do you guys ever put when Carol and I first got together, you got your phone and you got your name, like it would say Carol or whatever. I had her name in there as Carol, and I remember her getting after me, going like, "Well, you don't even have a nickname or a pet
name for me?
Well, she has. I think mine was Sexy Pants in her
Oh,
phone.
jeez.
So like hers now in my phone, it's been Sugar Buns forever. Well, now if I go on Facebook to if I gotta send her a Facebook message or something, I always catch myself typing in Sugar Buns. Well, that ain't gonna fucking find her on Facebook.
Brett's sweet.
So do you
tits.
guys ever use
Yeah,
that?
Brett's sweet tits, and you're Ginger Bush.
Ginger Bush.
I just waxed today though.
Damn it. I was gonna say something. Now you threw me all off, and it was.
You're thinking
it's
about
pretty-
my waxing, aren't you?
No. I was listening to a radio show on Sirius, and they were talking about things you stole while you're drunk.
Oh man,
And
I got a good one.
It was pretty fucking good. This dude stole a fucking like a $45,000 horse just to ride.
Okay, I haven't
home.
went that big.
Just to ride.
That's pretty big.
Just to ride it home.
It's not like The Hangover where they steal a fucking giraffe, but
yeah.
I walked out of a wedding one time with a fake tree,
But what?
a drunker than shit, and I remember sneaking around like Ace Ventura,
What is
like
the
I'd hide behind the
craziest-
tree, grab it, run for a bit.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done while drunk, or you know what I mean?
I stole a lot of shit from parties and stuff back in the day.
Yeah, just
just
stupid little
random
shit.
that.
I
And then I look back and I'm like, God, I was an idiot.
what a
You know
dickhead!
what
I know,
Yeah,
like now
yeah.
if that asshole me was at my party, I'd want to beat
Oh,
his
yeah.
ass now, like.
But
And I never really stole
But,
much.
but what I
by any
figured
means, but-
is we'd have parties and people would steal from us. So I'm like, it's just a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just getting back, But
I stole a car once,
biggest thing.
drunk.
Yeah, I borrowed
But
a car.
I put it back where I took it.
so you borrowed it. Then.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
like,
if you were
steal
with
it.
me, if it was the Cat Grizz game that you went with me, but I remember we borrowed Jesse Simonson's pickup for a day and a half.
Yeah, I was.
And he was a
there.
little worried about. We stayed at Thane's house, I think, is where we
He
stayed.
was a little mad because Skinner didn't bring it back right away.
Yeah.
It was like the next day, way later.
we
or
went
something.
we went drinking and we all got hung over. We kept our buddy's pickup overnight and then some.
It was
Yeah.
It was in high school though. We were at a party on one end of town, and I need to get beer on the other end of town. It's a fucking long walk, and I got to get 24 packs of beer. And a 16-year-old boy walking down the street with 24 packs of beer is going to look pretty fucking obvious. And I was walking. I made about a block from the party, and I walked past a car, and I just happened to look over, and fucking keys were in it. And I was like, well, I don't really want to walk 2.5 miles to get this beer. So I stole this car, but before I took it, I found a stick and I laid it where the tire was.
So you're gonna get it just right. Like the guy wouldn't
Put
go
this
notice.
motherfucker just right.
Because he would notice otherwise, I'm
So-
sure, yeah.
I bombed across town, grabbed this
I
beer.
laid it right next to the stick that
every-
he laid.
Everybody is
So he knew nobody stole his
everybody's
car.
expecting me to be gone for, I don't know, probably a good hour at
The
least.
thing is, you're bombing across town not to buy beer, to find a buyer to buy you beer because you're not old enough.
We already
so.
had the beer, but it was across town.
Why is your beer not with you?
Okay, I didn't have the beer. We had to go get it out of my friend's
That's the
mom's
stupidest
fridge.
thing I've ever heard.
We had to go get it out of my friend's mom's fridge. Anyways,
Oh, so you just steal the beer?
What kind of friend's mom is keeping 224 packs in there?
Yeah, a good friend.
Did you go to my house?
That is, that's the only reason that guy was your friend.
Philip's ex-wife,
Uh-huh.
when she
Oh,
first
hey.
started dating Philip. Anyways, so we bombed back across town, grabbed the beer, show back up at the party. Everybody's like, how the fuck did you get the beer so fast? You guys are fucking quick. We never did tell anybody we stole a car to go get the beer. And I put that bitch right back at the stick where I put it on the ground.
I do that shit to my kids. Like if I got like some
You
good.
steal beer for your kids?
No, like
Oh,
if I got some good Werther's Originals or something in the cabinet.
Are you old?
holy shit, old woman.
I'll set them. I'll set them in a certain spot so I know if the little bastard.
You're setting
moved
them
it
up.
all. Yeah.
Setting them up for
Hey,
ya.
my Werther's moved. What do you got?
My Werther's
That is,
Originals.
Jesus Christ, you're old.
Do you really keep Werther's Originals?
Yeah, the caramels. There's a caramel with a vanilla inside on it, and I'm telling you, they're the best fucking candy on the planet.
What the fuck?
I've had them. They are good, but it does sound like an old.
I know,
Like,
yeah.
like your grandma taking them out of her purse.
I think
You want
I think that's where I got my addiction. Was probably my grandma as a kid. She's like, "You like Werther's?" And I was like, "I love Werther's."
Jeez.
That's how Carol picked him up.
If
Do you like Werther's? I
yeah,
love
no, that's
Werther's.
far from the way that we hooked up.
I got habanero flavored Werther's.
Jesus. What? If you guys could, like, just out of the blue, just completely stop doing what you're doing if you wanted to, and pursue any dream with no worries about money, what would it be? Other than a porn star or a fucking like.
I was going to use that. I remember what movie it was on.
Honestly?
2 girls at the same time.
You know,
I remember
there's-
what movie that was from.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's so much, like, oh, I want to go ride dirt bikes. I want to go do this. I want to do that. Fuck, I'm way past my dirt biking days. I mean,
I know I'm getting too old for that shit.
I'll go huck
Don't get
a
me
bike
wrong, it's
around,
fun, but
It's a young guy's sport,
oh, your back
Not-
hurts so bad. Like Shane and I were talking.
Not saying we're
do you
old
want
by
to
any
know
means, but it's still.
if I could just quit what I'm doing today and go do what I want to do, what I want to do is own my own dirt moving contracting business.
That would be pretty fun too.
mean-
I'd rather just.
I mean, what
I'm gonna take my iPad and lay on the beach and almost do what I'm doing right now.
I mean,
Just
it's not
do
like
the-
it's not like I'm gonna say, oh, I want to go run Elon Musk's business because it's beyond me. But I can move dirt like a motherfucker, and he can't. So
I've always thought, and I watched a couple videos here recently too of the dudes that build like the huge jumps for Red Bull for the snow pipe and all that. I feel like that'd be a pretty fun daily job, to go out and just build a big snow park. I mean, yeah, it'd still be work. Don't get me wrong,
yeah, there's a lot of time into that too.
but for sure. But I enjoy the
And then I
shit out
don't-
of shaping up jumps and that
And
kind of
that's
thing.
the thing. They must have, like, there must be a lot of different people involved in that. Like the guy that actually, like, I'd assume he's probably an engineer that figures out the.
There's
the
one
angle
dude.
and
There's
all
actually
that.
in each one of those sports. It's a pretty small
there's
network of dudes that have been just building skate ramps for years, or like guys that have been building
But they
snow jumps at a snow park for years. And
the guys that figure out the ramp and the ones that
You
build
just-
it
you
too,
know
or
what-
they just have some.
if you've done it long
Joe
enough,
Blow
like the
built
way
up
that I
there.
am right now, if you've done it long enough, you can literally look at a jump and see, like, know exactly how you should shape it to get to right here or there. You literally don't need the full blown physics in it because you've felt it and you've done it before. Like, I mean, I could go out to the hills and look at a hill like this and this gap and know how big of a jump that I'm going to have to
Oh,
push up.
no. Here's the best part. We'll go out to the hills, and he'll look at it and be like, oh, fuck. Let's shovel this up. Let's build this up. We'll build the lip up another 2 feet.
And then he goes, Shane, hit that.
And then we'll look at it, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's a good one.
You always got to have that dumb friend
That is-
that's willing to
yeah,
risk their
yeah,
life before
Yeah,
yours.
that's a really good one.
It's a stunt
So I look
guy.
at him.
It's not me being dumb. I know I could hit
I
it.
will literally look at him and be like, so what do you think? I don't know. Third gear, 3/4 throttle. I mean, you can roll a little hard at the bottom. You might.
I'll give him the
you
exact
might-
specs.
you
I
might
mean,
go lo-
It's fail proof.
You might go long on it, but you
Just
should,
as long as he doesn't run
you
out of
got it.
talent, we're good.
And I was like, and as he's telling me this, he'll always explain it like he's going to do it. And then he's like,
I can,
slap on the shoulder, good luck.
Yeah.
I can only think of one real time that this has happened. And that time I had a bald back tire, and I knew that I better make sure that the good back tire will make it over first.
You didn't just slap him and go,
And I
borrow
was-
my bike, Rhodes.
Oh, I'll gladly long. No, his fucking bike and his suspension he used to have was like
Little
Since
stiff
he's-
for you, probably.
it's like riding a fucking bicycle with no suspension for me. Like he's like, take it off the ramp once, and I go and I hit the ramp, and I literally land, and the suspension doesn't even move.
Well, it's 100 pounds heavier. I mean, what do you expect?
Like
It's,
Cupcake Larry.
I'm an athlete.
No, that was the good thing about it. Is because like
Really, he never steered me wrong.
Shane's
though.
always known, not even known, but like even if he gets in panic mode, for some reason he's so big and oafy that he can slop it out. No matter like even if his bike's sideways, he can like almost plant a foot and still somehow ride out what he should never. He should have died 40 times, but he rode him out. Well, and then I could go, yeah, I should have told him 3/4 throttle instead of half. Like that was always the.
He got
You're
just
just
at the
like,
point.
Shane, what you hit it with? I don't know.
He no clue.
He just
Usually-
had no idea.
Usually it's me
Yeah.
telling him. I'll
He
go.
would
I'll
just-
go Shane third gear, half throttle, roll into it on the bottom.
Roll,
like
yeah.
I'll give you exactly what it needs to be.
He probably comes back and you're like, how was that? Oh, I don't.
Like,
He's
what-
like, he's like, I needed 3/4 throttle. I go, yeah,
Where
well, I
was-
weigh 100 pounds less.
Where was supposed to be
He was,
half.
he was like, I was idling in fifth gear. I don't know.
But where it was supposed to be half throttle, he'd always say, just roll half throttle. and then at the bottom, roll. So when I did hit the lip, I'd be 3/4 so I just roll at the same time. You know,
Problem was, is we call him Loop Out Larry. He had never had any clue how to level his fucking bike out in the air. So if he did hit it, he'd be flying through the air, just nose high, freaking out. Normally, like, if you're good at flying a bike, you'll pull in your clutch and tap your brake, or you'll lean forward to get it over. Not Shane. He's laying off the back with that fucking brake foot blowing 3 feet away from his brake fucking lever. And you just know it's going to be yard sale. And somehow that dumbass, he'll slop it out. Really he'll hit and just... And I'll ride my bike to the top of the hill thinking, I'm finding him, he's knocked out. And I get there and he's sitting on his bike, freaking out. Like, how the fuck did you ride that out?
I think it works with everything. One of my buddies told me one time when they were snowmobiling, they were doing something, and he goes, "When in doubt, tack it out."
Oh, for
sure. I
sure.
think that just works with everything.
On a dirt bike, for sure. Like, if
you're when in doubt, tack it out.
For the longest time, too.
Especially if it's not yours.
For the longest time, too, is I rode 2-strokes, so coming off the ramp, my whole sprocket and gearing setup was completely different from the 4-stroke. So on a 4-stroke, every time you hit a ramp, it's usually second gear, just roll throttle. Burp. Now on my 4-stroke, everything was set up just perfect, and I just up and over. My 2-stroke, my sprocket was too big, so I was coming off with such a high RPM. Right when I come off it, that motherfucker go, and just boner air right straight in the fucking air. Every fucking time.
I've got so many good pictures of him looping out. That's how he got the name Loop Out. That's how Larry even started. I started calling him Loop Out Larry because it didn't matter what it could be a fucking 90cc 4-wheeler. He's in it on his back. Like, he is wheeling it over backwards. It was just fucking epic.
I never could wheelie.
And don't get me wrong, I miss dirt bikes so much because that was one of the things that I was legitimately fairly good at. You know, I mean, like, I could honestly take my dirt bike out when I was in Arizona and go with some of the best pros in the world and still hit the same jumps they were hitting and still and hang, you know. But
I excelled on a dirt bike.
But once you get to 36 years old, your fucking back hurts, man. I've broke 13 bones so far. Not all of them been dirt bikes. It's been wrestling or playing touch football with my sister or whatever.
It's that, and your mind gets a little what you're like.
The chicken muscle.
You're like, that might hurt.
The chicken muscle is the only muscle that grows with age and never shrinks.
And there's no doubt I'm going to get another dirt bike, but am I going to go up north and start hitting the ramp like I'm fucking 22 years old?
If I get another dirt bike, I'm hitting the ramp.
I will, but I think I'll spend more time out on the trails with my kids.
That's what I keep thinking, but jumping is so much fun. You can't, I'll go till my body disintegrates. That's my problem, is, even on bigger, there's a lot of jumps you'll go find one that's, it's huge, but it's to flat. I'll make sure I take it to flat further than anybody else is going to take it to flat all day long. And everybody else will be burping over it, and I'm like, fuck that, I'm sending this thing. And I'll send it, smash out, just to make sure that I got the long mark.
Hit the flat and just bottom her out.
I just love the feeling of flying. I honestly would like to get my pilot's license. I know it's not even close to what a dirt bike is, but just being up that height and everything, I think will give me the little bit of an adrenaline.
A pilot's license to get it costs about as much as a fucking new dirt bike.
Well, that's exactly my point.
For
way more.
No, well, to buy to go to the school for a pilot's license for somebody to train you, it's about $5-6 grand.
With age, get a cage.
But to buy an airplane is another deal.
I think you're about half the price.
No,
I was quoted last year here in Malta $8 grand.
$8 grand.
But is that paying for? Is that everything one and done?
You should be able to get through and get your license.
Because there's so many.
You got to rent the plane and all. No, with
that's
rent.
All in there.
This was all what I was told from a local person.
Yeah.
With renting the plane and everything else, you should be able to get your pilot's license with $8 grand.
Yeah.
And that's a dirt bike.
I was thinking 10.
That's what a dirt bike costs. A new dirt bike's $9 grand.
But what's the shit point with having a pilot's license without owning a plane?
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's why I'm going to build an experimental rocket.
Oh, Jesus. There you go.
All right. Well, with that, let's take a quick break so we don't decide to buy a new dirt bike right now. Or an airplane. Oh, we're back again. We've done more of a podcast behind the scenes, not recording tonight, than little bladder Larry has had to piss. Every time he goes piss, we stop and then we bullshit about things that probably can't even go on the podcast.
We bullshitted long enough that he pissed twice there, so we literally skipped a whole break.
We bullshitted long enough that I got to pee again. No, I'm just kidding. So what Bret never said is, what would you do if you could pursue any dream Period. Like, did you ever, growing up as a kid, did you want to be like a firefighter? Anything like, did you have any goals? Did you have like something that like, if the,
Jesus.
well, I know, but
did you have any goals?
not even like the goal, but did you ever have something that you aspired to be other than a pro sports star or something or whatever? I mean, every kid wanted to go to the NBA or something, you know, but.
Not that I could really think of, you know. I don't know.
Nothing?
Just wanted to grow up and be a working man.
Yeah, I just wanted to be a Toys R Us kid.
Live a happy
And
life.
now
Fuck,
they
me
now they
too.
closed Toys R Us, so now I'm just a kid.
Now I'm just an Amazon kid.
Yeah.
No.
No, I don't. I can't.
If money wasn't an issue, what would you do tomorrow? Not that it is, but like,
I just. If money wasn't an issue, I'd just be vacationing all. You know, I mean, I just warmer weather than this shit.
that's me too. I keep saying.
I like Montana, but
I told
I-
you. Well,
you know.
the big thing for me when I bought this iPad Pro, because I can draw. Like I do graphic design for a living, or I do cell phone repair, which is I do more graphics than anything. When I bought the iPad Pro, I literally kind of did a little celebration because I could do my work from the beach now, as long as I could go to a coffee shop once a day and hit Wi-Fi and send all my emails or whatever. I literally could lay on the beach and draw on my iPad Pro and do that.
Yeah,
And like,
if you get all the money, you know, I mean, just sitting on the beach, you know, drinking margaritas, banging senoritas.
I'm real lucky. I feel
it.
like I'm real lucky that I never discovered like Florida beaches until I was 30 something. Because if I would have earlier, I may have been a beach bum. I may have went like, fuck it, I'm surfing the rest of my life and I'm gonna live under that dock. I might have just. It's so nice.
I would rather, like, seriously, like, I used to think about
think
all
I turned
the
yours
crazy
down.
shit I could do, or like, oh,
You turned your mic off.
oh,
Shane's
well,
mic has a.
dumb.
You,
No,
you always,
it was so much better.
you know
with
what's
it
so
off.
funny in the podcast room? You always know not to give the dumbest guy the one with the switch
Well, I shut it off
because he's usually on this one or that one. They got a switch.
But-
And
Anyways, if I had all the money in the world to do whatever I want to do, I grew up working.
Yeah,
I
don't
think
get me
that's
wrong.
what I want to do, but I wouldn't want to work
What-
my ass off every day. I would like to own a business where I could employ people and
well, like you said, having a big
know.
dirt moving business. If you had all all the money in the world, it'd still be fucking fun to go jump in an excavator and fucking. I mean, like to do your own personal stuff, or to like for me, I like building jumps of any like whether it's for my kids or for the next kids or the whoever are building a skate park. I would enjoy doing that if I had a pile of money to not even worry about it. I'd love to just build fun shit all day.
Just do it for other people.
Just-
to,
Yeah.
I think
like I
about-
said, the snowcat thing. Like if I could go be
Yeah.
Red Bull's fucking snow builder,
But I think about it.
I'd love to sit in there with my headphones on and just build sweet jumps all day.
One of my
You're just
previous
doing what like Jeff does, you know.
Yeah,
does
go-
building skate parks now. That's basically what he's, you know.
The one we got in Malta literally came from a sketch in Jeff's notebook. He called these we'd had a 50 grand park, and then he calls the guys back after we were fixed up, and he goes, "Yeah, just go ahead and do that one that I sketched out." And so Billy texts me the next day or whatever, and he goes, "Come look at it." I come look at it, and it literally at that point was a fucking sketch in Jeff's notebook, and that was
He'd never even been to Malta yet, probably, had he?
oh, he's been here before. He's from Big Sandy.
He's from
Yeah,
Big
but, I
Sandy,
mean,
so
how-
I've been here
to
since
me-
when I was a kid and shit.
To be able to be a rock star on your bus, you're a Hall of Famer. Money doesn't matter. You're just drawing skate parks or like whatever. Like that's his passion now. He goes, we do this and we do the Vitalogy Foundation now. That $2 of every Pearl Jam ticket goes to something. If you
Yeah.
figure you're selling 60 grand out, that's 120 grand each concert that goes to some sort of foundation. Which is
And that's the, you know, I mean, like, just to be sketching skate park, you know, I mean, you got to be loving
what
skate park, you know, I mean.
Exactly. I mean, mine would have been like if I had limitless funds, it'd be probably dirt bikes, and then like now maybe timber sleds. I'd love to go like create a new, not necessarily a new, but like I could see where timber sleds still has a lot of innovation to go, like as far as tracks and jumps and powder and
Right.
stuff. Like there's still a whole lot of room for improvement.
Well,
So
it's
if I had a
just-
whole lot of money, maybe that would be it. But my back will only hold up so long. The nice thing for me about skateboarding is that if I fall, I usually like just fall from my feet and then I slam. If you're on a dirt bike, you're falling from 30 feet up,
Yeah.
Hitting a ramp, and I feel like I'm gonna keep getting better at skateboarding at least till I'm 50. Like I mean, like I don't think I'm gonna.
Yeah, like
I'm
with
that
dirt
late.
bikes, you start degressing,
Oh,
going
yeah.
backwards.
But a lot of that is, like you said,
The pain. I've broke
Well,
13 fucking bones.
what's
in
the
it.
pain, and then like dirt, but you know, it's
The chicken muscle.
It's yeah, that's what. Yeah, I was looking for that. I couldn't.
Don't
remember
get
what
me
you
wrong,
said, chicken
I-
muscle.
It's still at this point in my life, I still feel like I'm healthy enough, and even if I had a dirt bike, I'd still be hitting the biggest jumps that I have in my life right now. But just like Shane, there's been days him and I are both so fucking laid up after a day of riding dirt bikes that, like, I've got serious neck problems.
That's a day where,
from whiplashing so hard.
That's a day where we rode really well. No crashes.
Yeah.
No wad ups. Every landing was butter. But it's not just the jumping and the impacts. I think a lot of it's just the tense and how tense you get your body wise before. I mean, it takes 4 or 5 jumps before I'm fucking relaxed enough.
You gotta stretch first.
Yeah, I suppose.
You should see his stretch. No,
when you were younger, it didn't.
Yeah,
never phase you. I mean, it did. Don't get me wrong, but I bounced better when I was younger.
You didn't realize that you were even working any muscles, right? You were just.
I remember
having fun.
I remember a day here 3-4 years ago where I was heading at the ramp and my bike started cutting out at the ramp, so I swerved off and I hit the other ramp. And my bike had a skid plate on it, so I 50-50 grind up the side of the ramp on a dirt bike. And then it takes me off and slams me. And, like, I knew right then, I knew I was okay. I was lucky I didn't smash one way or the other.
But you knew you were going to hurt the next morning.
I knew I was going to be in so... Literally for the next 3 weeks, my fucking hip to my knee was black and blue. And if I was 20, that would have been a week. But, like, this was a long-lasting... and I knew that it was... shitty, and don't get me wrong, like we talked before, God damn it, that's the one thing in life that I've ever been like better than all my buddies at, you know, like I went and played basketball in 8th grade and like I could make the bottom end of the A team. I was never good, you know. Wrestling, I've always been pretty decent, but I had to work my nuts off to be good at it. Dirt bikes, I worked my butt off, but that was something that like as a little kid, I remember I threw a leg over a dirt bike. Not even without riding it, and I just knew. Because, even watching my brother, I knew this was what I wanted to do it. My brother brings in a 1985 KX 125 that he had, and this is before he'd give it to me. But he goes, take it around the track, and I took it for, 1 or 2 laps around our old track. And I come back, he goes, you're not riding my dirt bike again if you don't hit every jump on the track. And I'm like, I'm scared shitless, because I'm not good enough yet to hit it. But apparently he thought so. So sure enough, the next lap, I go and I hit every jump on the track. The lap after that, I hit the double and do a no-footer. And I was instantly hooked. I was like, this is where it's at. And then 2 weeks later, my brother gave me his 1985 125 for either my 15th or 16th birthday. He gave me a card that said, hey, he was living with us at the time. Yeah. He's my half-brother upstairs. And he gives me a card that says, hey, brother, I can't get you much for your birthday, but I think it's time to hand it down and your present's out in the back of my pickup. And I look out and I was like, you fucking shit me. That's pretty dope present. That's your fucking prized possession. Literally, that was my brother's prize. I'll never, ever forget that. That's literally the best present I've ever got in my entire life.
You went from what the hell was that one that you had?
The 80?
Well,
I had a moped.
The moped where you had to
I had
get
a push moped.
I
jumped that as far as you could jump that. I don't know if I might hold the world record for push moped jumps. But
as far as you can,
I blew it up one time riding it out. I had a little track behind Stein's nightclub where my aunt used to own out there, and I blew it up one day riding it out there. I had it tapped out, and I was kind of heading a little bit downhill, and I remember it locked up. It was done. You couldn't find parts for it, and right after that, I started doing door-to-door sales for Christmas cards and shit, and I bought that little 80 off of Nick Oxart.
Oh, huh.
And so then I started taking a little bit of motor. I'd go out with my brother and kind of take it serious. Well, I remember this when my dad had the Dodge dealership, and he'd brought a brand new Dodge Dakota, loaded my bike up in it. First day, they when they first made the Dodge Dakotas with the new the headlights, the way the 94 Dodges switched the little bubble headlight. This was the newest. My dad and I are taking it out. We're like, fuck yeah, we're driving this thing, whatever. We get out there and I'm riding all day, and he goes, well, just ride it in the back, just like your brother, because we got a ramp. And I'm like, Dad, I got to push it. I've never rode it in the back. I don't want to.
Bang.
Well, no, and what happened, my 80 had a carb problem. I'd go up a hill and it'd stall, so you'd open it up, and then it would crack wide open. So I go up this fucking hill of the little a ramp, crack it wide open, Nothing happens. I get right to the top, and that thing unleashes. I literally jump into the back window with the bike, bust the back of the tailgate.
Oh,
I don't remember if I
jeez.
busted the back window or not, but the front of the tailgate caved in, tipped
keyed
over,
the front of the box,
caught me,
yeah.
and I'm full blown terrified. I'm thinking like my dad's gonna fucking kill me. He's over there laughing hysterically at me, and finally I come to my fucking wits. I'm like, Dad, get the bike off me! Like, it's laying on.
He couldn't be mad. That was his idea.
It was his idea, and I thought for sure though. I thought
And
I'm
this
dead.
was
I just
brand new pickup. It probably wasn't even his. It was off
no,
the
yeah,
lot,
it was a
wasn't
dealer.
Yeah.
It had dealer plates.
Yeah.
I knew I was dead. I was like, I just fucked up a new.
You just bought a new pickup, son.
luckily, my dad's a pretty easygoing guy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's been hard on me when I needed it. Don't get me wrong, but I was that day. I thought for sure I was in so much trouble, and I look over at him and he's fucking laughing, and this 2-stroke's running on my leg, burning me. And finally, I'm like, pick it up.
Your old man's laugh always kills me
Oh,
too.
you
It's
hear it from a
just-
mile away.
Oh yeah, very distinct. You know, just
Yep. There's a lot of the Rhodes family that laughs a lot like that, like my dad's brothers, and I love hanging out with those guys. I never get, I don't. Problem is, I live in Malta now. He lives in Billings, and when you
Yeah.
go to Billings anymore, you're going to Billings for a reason usually.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's either state wrestling or like we're going for a concert or.
It's not like it used to be where even 10 years ago you'd go there. Oh, I'm just gonna go get drunk and
Yeah,
you
no-
know, this
no,
and
now
that.
it's
And
a-
now you're
We're
growing
chasing
up,
kids or
it's-
doing whatever.
yeah.
And so like I'll go stay with him and stuff, but anymore it's almost like you just kind of stay the night. You go have a couple beers with him or whatever. It's
Yeah.
not the same. And
Yeah.
like
Not just tying.
I need to
around
make
like
I need
you-
to make
yeah.
more time to go do that.
It's the cats in the cradle and the
Well,
sun.
you're right.
It is. It
But-
is.
I mean, I need
What
to
about
go.
the Man on the Moon?
I need to go make more time for that, but it's fuck when you got your own life with 3 kids at home and everybody one's got
Yeah.
basketball, one's got wrestling, one
It's
you know
all-
whatever.
It's all part of growing
It is.
up.
It is. That's
But
the
it-
part of getting
But I
older.
really think a guy needs to just make more time.
You
so
do.
that it- you know, it's
Absolutely
what
do.
what you know. I mean, we always think I'm busy. You
We
know?
got to work.
Not
I got
that-
to finish this.
You're not fucking. You know, none of us are that fucking
No.
busy that you can't go
I'm
do
the
this
same way.
or that.
And,
You know, I mean,
and I've pinched pennies before, is like if I needed to go do something, I could find a way to make it happen. One way or
yeah.
another. But you don't do that enough to where you'll make that an excuse.
But
So
there was-
you go, oh well, it was just Christmas. I don't have any money. Like what?
Yeah.
But if I had to go to fucking Billings tomorrow, I could get there. Like it ain't.
before when you were pinching, you were literally pinching penny. You know, I mean, now it's not.
We're
You,
pretty-
you might say, "Oh, I don't have the money," but you have the money. It's just you're just
exactly.
being a tight ass. You know, I mean,
Exactly. Well, and you're
maybe you can do
you get
without
so
formula for
like
a
you
week.
said, you
Fuck.
get so wrapped up in your work or something, or like I was sick last week, so now I know I'm a little behind, and I'm really scrambling to get some of this
Yeah.
graphic design done, and I got other ones lined up that are supposed to be done, and I got phones lined, but you always make that as an excuse, and like what the fuck would happen tomorrow if like you go shit, I don't get to go see my dad.
Yeah.
Would you be mad about not doing it?
Hey.
Yeah, you're damn right you'd be mad.
Do you remember when we went to that Garth Brooks concert? If tomorrow never comes, yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, Garth Brooks.
So I look
I'm
at
still
it
gonna
'cause-
say Garth Brooks was one of the best concerts I've ever been to.
We're pretty goddamn fortunate. You and I are, Travis.
We are very, and like you think about the rest of the world of how, even though we live in the middle of fucking nowhere, 40 below, how many people can say that they?
I'm about to go stick my dick in a thermos. That's how cold it is.
Well, I mean, how many people can say like, even with a family of 5 or whatever I got, that you can rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for damn near dirt cheap, or a lot of people will own them in Malta, whatever. And I can still work from home
Yeah.
and make my own shit happen.
Yep.
And have that glory to do like
That's a
Sure,
that's
it
a
works
hell of
great
an
in
advantage
America.
For you.
Hey,
That's
hey,
I
bud,
mean,
I just want to say you're welcome. And you're like, why? Because all of your friends have supported you and got your back and know that you'll kick ass
Well,
at everything you've ever done.
trying. It ain't even so much of a plan to kick ass. It's
Plan
I
it.
just feel like I've worked enough jobs and different jobs myself, and seen other people make it really well off the backs of other people.
oh yeah.
I'd rather not be that back. I'd rather, if I'm gonna do something, why don't I chase my own fucking goals? And like we said with this podcast, I didn't want to monetize this podcast at all until I hit 50,000 subscribers. We're so fucking close without even putting the effort in. And so when I was heading
Well, now that you got me, I mean,
Oh, I know, yeah,
it's gonna
guaranteed
go over
gold.
that. Yeah.
when I was heading to Billings the other day, though, I'd listened to another guy's podcast, and he was kind of talking about like putting content out and this and that, and like what it is, and I kind of went like, dude, I'm already 10 legs above what other people most have had. Yet I've been so ungreedy about it, I guess, of like not even attempting to pursue it yet, because I had this goal in my mind that I wanted to be this big before mostly because of all the advertising and marketing sales I've done before, that I wanted to make it to this. I wanted to make it to this point of the 50,000, and then I could go, hey, then I can go get whatever Nike.com. Not so much, but you know, like I can go get a national brand as opposed to
Huffy.
Well, as opposed to leaning on our local brands that always support me for my comedy shows, like the Ezzy's Wholesale and the, Henderson Trucking or whatever they are, like Radio Shack.
Yeah.
I know that our podcast is pretty big locally. I mean, we're going to put this out tomorrow, and there's going to be a shit ton of listeners locally.
You don't only lean on your local people much, and
biggest.
You want to get bigger. Everybody wants to get bigger.
I've always said with advertising, I feel like a fucking dirty insurance salesman or something that like. If I'm not going to go and give you value for your brand, if like say tomorrow I go, this podcast is sponsored by Peigneux Farms, somebody better fucking call Peigneux Farms and say, hey, what do you got? You know, like I don't want to just advertise because you gave me money.
No,
I want to advertise because I want it to make your business do something, and that's kind of the way I feel about the comedy show. Like when I do those, is I don't want to. I mean, yeah, granted, you get something back because you get a table, you can sit with your friends and whatnot, but I don't want to. It's not your average just, hey, support Egg Day ad. Or, like, I'd prefer to be at, and I've always thought that in my own head, as I'm trying to put out content, I want it to be right, like I don't want to feel dirty about it. I don't want to feel like I'm doing a podcast because my sponsor owns me. Or because, like, Mint Bar said I should say this today. That's not, the podcast will be mine and my views, period. And if you want to jump on back with it, then gladly. If not, fuck off.
Yeah.
Shane, did you forget your Switch?
No, I just shut it off.
I noticed earlier Shane's mic keeps going limp too. It just keeps.
He asked for tape, but apparently his fucking man hands weren't man enough just to tighten that little.
I see that. Yeah, it's just.
I couldn't figure it out. It was all fucked up, but I think I kind of got it figured out.
What's I know Bret said earlier he never owned a terrible car. What's the worst car you ever owned? Or even were forced to drive when you first got your driver's license? Or
I bought a 90, I think it was a 94 Beretta.
I remember that car, yeah.
The Beretta make them wetter.
One night.
That's the one you smashed, right?
No, that was an 81 Pontiac Grand Prix.
Yeah.
But I bought this Beretta when I lived in Miles City.
How much shit did he smash?
And I was drunk as fuck when I bought it. It was a pretty good car until you hit 70 miles an hour, and it got a violent shake. Violent.
I don't think our Beretta's made to go over 70, so
it's
probably just a safety device.
And one day it just left me. It just broke down the side of the highway between Miles City and Billings. I just left it. I never went and got it. I don't know where it ended up.
Did you pull the plates off or anything?
No, I just left it.
I had a Buick Skylark.
So you probably got a hell of a ticket somewhere that's just waiting.
You don't get a ticket for abandoning vehicles.
You don't?
Nope.
No, they'll take them and scrap. But I had when I lived in Billings, I was kind of down on my luck and working at High Tech Motorsports, not getting paid very well and whatnot. And I bought, I don't remember the year, but it was a Buick Skylark. But it was the old, had kind of the cool curvy body, almost like the old Monte Carlos. I don't remember what year this thing was. Shorter than like one of the old Monte Carlos, but almost the same body design of this Buick Skylark. And I drove that thing. I remember I was heading to work one day and I start hearing this fucking knock. So I pull off and I check my oil and there's metal everywhere. I literally ran that bitch till she fucking whoa. Got out, took my plates off and walked away. Sat on the other side of
I don't
the
know why you take your plates, because if you got a VIN number, they're
going to be able to search it. Which I
Makes
never,
you feel better.
I never got anything. Yeah, I thought I was getting away with it, but I didn't. Anyway, I've had a lot of shitty cars because I've always been I've been one of those guys that I really enjoy just not taking a loan out on something that's not an asset. Like it's not something that's going to make me money, so I'd rather just pay it off. And so I've had a few shitty cars that I knew I'd drive them to the ground, but that's what they were for. I traded one time. I was a freshman. I traded 2 packs of deer steaks and I think it might have been $50 or something to my Aunt Marilyn for a 1982 Plymouth Horizon hatchback.
Ooh, I'm pretty sure we jumped that once on Rhythm Road.
We used to jump the shit out of that thing on Rhythm Road. We'd get a run all the way back around the corner and jump that and just launch. And that sucker, one of the only cars I've ever had that just sailed straight when you jumped it. You know, most cars will nosedive. This fucker went whoa.
Because there was no weight in the front end for a motor.
So
now you'd hit houses on Rhythm Road.
Right.
Well, this is back. Our school burnt down.
Or a hospital.
Our school burnt down when I was a 7th grader, and so by the time I was a freshman, we were still playing basketball. Well, I wasn't, but our team was playing basketball in Saco. So we'd drive up there for every basketball game, and it'd be a car or a line of cars the whole time. I remember
It was
riding
ridiculous coming back from that.
I remember-
All it was just a line of cars.
I'm riding with a couple buddies, and there was always a couple girls or whatever that went with us. And one of my buddies, we find this it's funny that you can reach up, turn the key off, and just turn it back on. And the car just boom, just goes as it is. He turns it off for a while, and obviously it's getting gas because I don't know whether he turned it off, and he fucking cranks it back on, and boom!
Hey.
My
Big old
fucking muffler
backfire.
just folds out. And the car's going, bang! Like I was one of the first guys with a rice can, like one of the fucking Fast and Furious cars. I get home.
You were cool before.
I get
cool was
home and I
cool.
take it to the shop. And my dad's like, "It's so loud. What'd you do?" I goes, "Oh, well, we took it. We were like a little off road, and I hit a rock. I don't remember some bullshit
Yeah.
story I told him." Well, before it goes to the shop,
You hit a rock and your
Dude,
muffler.
I
just
literally
explodes, yes.
get underneath of it before it goes over to Central. I think Matt Bruce still owned it at the time. It was Matt's alignment.
Matt's alignment, yeah.
And he was like best friends with my dad. So I get under the car before it goes over there, and I look at the muffler, and it's fucking mushroom. Like, I still am sticking. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We hit a rock. It goes to there, and instantly they know. You know, they put a fucking muffler on it, whatever. But in that car, we used to take that car.
Did your old man call you out on it then or not?
I don't.
He just let it go.
I don't remember if he did or didn't. I think he may have, and he knew I was bullshitting him. And now I feel bad about not just saying, "Hey, Tanner, fucking turn the key off and turn it back on."
You ever notice?
But as a kid, you're like, "I'm dead." Like as soon as it happened, I'm like, my dad's gonna be so mad.
It's like a thing I seen the other day that when you get older, you tell the same stories that you used to your parents, but now you tell them.
Now you can
tell
tell
them
them
the
the
truth.
illegal parts.
Now you tell them all the bullshit.
He goes,
stuff
"Oh,
that-
that's why."
Yeah, I was pissed drunk and this. Yeah.
I know. I just got off the phone with my dad a minute ago. I told him I was doing a podcast. He's probably fucking listening. So
And what's funnier is to tell your friends' parents the stories about them.
Oh, yeah.
And leave it,
I'll never forget though being like a 7th or 8th grader and like I don't we didn't have cell phones then, but if you got the call, like if you were kind of scamming out trying to hang out at like a girl's house or something, you know, even if it was just like friendly, and you were like my dad would be like, "Be home at dark," you know, or like it used to be home by the curfew. Our whistle, we in Malta, for those of you that don't live here, in Malta we have a big old air raid siren that used to run like if there was an air raid. Well, so then the
It comes about
townsfolk
during the Korean War, but anyways, yes.
Well, so then the townsfolk started running it at 9:30 because they got to test it every day to make sure it works. So they'd run it at 9:30 at night, and that was considered like curfew for most kids. You know, if you're under 18,
I don't know if that was ever a real
it,
deal.
it
or we
wasn't a
just
rule.
assumed
It was just what your parents said, though.
told you,
Like
you
sort of
gotta
like
be home.
by curfew.
Yeah.
That was the curfew whistle.
If you heard that, you were shitting and getting.
So yeah, and I remember a couple times like I was like hanging out over on the other side of town,
You
and I
couldn't
remember.
hear it over there, probably.
Well, no, yeah, but I remember if I was
you
even
hear that fucker 9 miles north
I'm a
of
minute
town.
late, and my dad fucking would call, and I remember if like I could see it, like, or you'd see their mom pick up the phone and go, "Yeah," I'd fucking burst out. I remember running home, like never, like literally sprinting home. I remember one time.
Many runs from Hillcrest home.
Yeah, we used to have like one of the first time I started hanging out with some older classmates. We went up on Hillcrest and had like this pizza party. It was one of the first time we'd ever had some booze around.
Pizza party, yes.
Yeah.
Quotations, pizza.
Well, they had
party.
this little fort down by the canal.
I recall this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad calling the place, and that was the first time another parent had ever covered for me and been like, "I haven't seen him." And I don't remember who the girl was or whatever, but I remember like I was doing something or chasing something, and I didn't go home when he called that time.
Ooh.
I remember never feeling ever feeling like I was in that much trouble other than that time. that I came home. It was probably like 11:30. I got home, and I was 8th grade or whatever it was, But I was fucking dead meat. I knew for sure. No man's gonna fucking kill me. Like
what I get a kick out of is they didn't have cell phones or nothing back then, but you could tell your parents, well, I'm going up here to wherever. You might not be that, but they know where you're at.
Yep.
They will call somebody and find you.
We were in the general vicinity, and they knew who we were
they're going to call
with.
somebody and find out where.
I remember sprinting home from 9th Street and not taking hardly a breath, and he'd called, and by the time I was out,
doing on 9th Street?
By the time I was out,
it's only 3 streets away.
That's
not that
trailer
far.
park.
By the time I was out the door, no, I was not on 9th Street, the other way. I was out the door and halfway home before he got off that conversation, knowing that I was. But it's so different now. Like, you could fucking track your kid if you wanted now. Like, and your kid knows every bullshit lie you're telling them to because they can fucking Google it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, you go through the whole Santa Claus brought you this. Well, if I was a kid these days, the first fucking thing I'd Google is Santa Claus real? I mean, would you not? Or Tooth Fairy dropped off $10. Was the Tooth Fairy real?
I think it's still Asians pissing. I don't know.
Time, hold, pump the brakes.
Whoa.
Santa Claus isn't real? Fuck.
I'm sure John probably does suit up still and come to your fucking chimney.
John, no. No.
No, Shane was just convinced. Shane's always been convinced that Santa Claus was real, but he was too bad throughout the year. He never got the present. So
right?
it was easy to pull that one over on him. Yeah. So, you guys got any big plans for 2019? Anything different? Anything?
No, just raise family. Keep everybody happy. Keep myself happy. Make it through it.
How about you?
I don't really.
Just keep LIV.
People do
I
that. You
am.
guys
How
make
about-
plans for
How about
the
what's
year?
I don't.
Not for the full year, really.
I just fly.
Well,
Sure,
I
we'll
guess
go.
we got what's the big concert event, summer event of the year. Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson. That's our big plans for 2019. Other than that, it's the same shit, different day with us.
Brett, have you? This is off subject of that, but 20 years ago, when your dad would have been farming, and the difference between you two, what kind of major differences would he not have ever even seen coming that you do now? Anything? I mean, obviously, you still got to fucking plant something in the ground and grow it, but
Yeah, I don't. Not a hell of a lot, really, because we went to organic now, so it's kind of the same sort of thing that he was doing back then. It's you till the soil, you see, I mean. So, I'm sure there's differences, but it's a lot different. The tools that I mean, like the drill that we use compared to what he did and stuff is different. And
what's the difference in your yield as opposed to organic from if you were to be out there Roundup and everything and whatever? Like, I mean, do your
we're not.
Do your fields look more patchy as compared to it, or do they still grow the same, or is it? This is a town boy.
It kind of depends, the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Since since we've been organic in the last couple of years, it's been basically a drought around here. So that doesn't help. But
decide to go organic and then take it in the shorts for a couple of years before it actually pays off.
Well,
That's if you weren't bitching, you wouldn't be a farmer, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, is one of my as a town guy that scrapes by on every $500 that comes through for every graphic design I do. I feel real sorry for all you guys. I mean, I've always said that, you live in it, we'd be at the.
I don't think people realize the amount of money and everything that goes.
The swings that go in and out, though, same. Even
There's
same
a
with
lot of money
ranching. I mean, you go to a bull sale and people are selling bulls for now. What is that? $3.5 million a bull just sold for?
1.5 is what it was the other day.
Oh, I thought it was a 3. Okay, 1.5.
That's still ridiculous.
That's goddamn ridiculous.
But that bull will never see a cow in its life either.
No, they're just
because all they'll
artificial.
do is they'll just pull semen off of it.
He's gonna get a lot of really nice hand jobs. That bull's gonna get.
Basically, yes, yeah.
Fucking guy.
And whether to get your money back on that,
you don't want to break a hip hopping on a real cow.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's crazy stuff to me. But like I said, you're still scraping by to get the dollar, whether it's the big swings or not. I mean, obviously, some people make more than others, but
it's just a year, you know. It always depends on the year, what prices are worth, what, you know.
And like I said, that's
moisture is one of the biggest things that.
as a kid, I always grew up thinking like, man, farming and ranching would suck. As a young kid, you know, like I'd never want to. And now that I'm older, I'm like, farming would be pretty fucking peaceful.
It you know, it kind of is.
You
don't
get
have
to do
deal
your own
with a lot
thing.
of people.
You're your own boss. You get to do.
I think farming is a little more humbling than anything, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah, I mean, it depends. You know,
I
you
wish-
sit on a tractor a lot and whatnot, and sometimes you get a lot of thoughts in your head that you're like, do other people think of this? It's weird, you know. I mean,
God, I'm a fucked up
you
individual.
know,
I move dirt for a living,
You
so
know,
that's
you know
what
what
I
I'm
do. I'm
saying?
sitting
I
on
mean,
a piece of
it's-
equipment,
yeah.
and my mind's always fucking going.
and you're worse because you don't even have a radio or nothing, probably. at
Oh yeah,
least.
I fucking Bluetooth my phone to my radio and listen to
I
good
have, I have
music
internet all day, but I'm home by myself all day while I'm doing all my graphics and doing my shit. And like I still got to be self-disciplined. But one thing I've noticed, like when I worked out for the radio or whatever, I talk to humans so much more then than I do now.
Yeah.
And even like now, like I'll get to like 5 o'clock and I realize
Could
I
have
haven't.
fooled me the way you answer your phones.
Well, I know, like, but I'll get to like 5 o'clock and realize I haven't hardly said a word all day. It's all been into my own. Like, sure, I've been thinking of a
talking to
lot of things,
yourself.
but I've never. I literally didn't make a word out of my fucking mouth all day, and then like, it's strange. But if I could go back and tell 15-year-old me something, the first thing I mean, like, yeah, you needed a job to learn work ethic, but I instantly would have said, follow that fucking business idea you had instead of chickening out and trying, like, take your lumps, because whether you work for somebody or not, you're still going to end up working paycheck to paycheck, whatever it fucking ends up being. You'll just live to your means. And now that I've learned that I can work for myself, obviously, you know, the money comes differently, but even in the hard times, I'd rather not go put up with some guy being a dickhead to me.
The older I get too, I look at stuff like that and I'm like, what's the worst that happens?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
You're not going to die.
You take away my rental house and I got to go find another one?
I mean, that's, you know, I mean.
But you're right. You can't.
You're going to go bankrupt and then.
You can't shoot me. You're not going to put me in jail for not doing anything illegal.
You're not going to die. It's
Exactly.
not. Life goes on. It's. Yeah, you might be broke for a while or
That's
something.
not something.
But it's not.
As a young kid,
not
that
the
I
end of the
realized.
world.
As a young kid, you were so terrified of that.
Oh yeah.
What if I don't make, like, I don't know, like it's such a different mentality than I have now. And like I told you,
I see people living all the time on way less money. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
less money than I piss away at a night at the bar. You know, I mean,
don't get me wrong. I mean, I guess I still do work for the man or the woman, because I do bartend on the weekend. Both of them, they're partners. But I do that more than anything just to get the fuck out of the house. And then I get to go to the bar. I get to go to the bar without having to just be on the other side of the bar and get shit-faced and make an ass of myself. And
at least you're on that side making money. That's
yeah,
what I always thought.
which the best part about it, like when you get.
But the worst thing when you're on that side of the bar making money, you can't just up and leave.
No, exactly.
You know?
Because you get a shitty
Yeah.
crowd.
Deal with it all.
The one thing, like you'll see, and I've had this happen, you'll get your class reunion come through or something, or not even mine, or one above me or whatever. They'll come through and they go, "Oh, you're still bartending?" I go, "Okay, well, what do you do for a living?" Let's say, you know, whatever. I go, "Okay, well, what'd you make your last day you worked?" And especially if it's a class reunion night, you know? Listen, dude, I just pulled $400 cash plus my wages. Tell me you made that in a day.
I hope you're reporting that.
Yeah, I do. Go ahead. Anyway, let's take a pause before the fucking IRS gets me. All right, we're back for just a couple minutes. Larry's got to go soon. He's got to go loop something out. I think it's fucking cold enough out. He's ready to like take my skateboard down that next little hill over there or something fun. But it's been fun. I'm glad you guys fucking showed up for the podcast. We don't do these enough is the problem. You know, it's I look online and you're seeing other guys that have made it really well, and it's all about just pumping more and more content out there.
And we're glad to be here, Travis. Shit thing is, though, is, of course, we have all got full-time jobs, so, of course, we're fucking either working all summer.
Did he say all? Yeah.
Well,
no,
we've all got jobs, and we're either busy all summer or busy all winter, and we find a little bit of time to make this work. But when it does work, it's fun, and we love being here. We love you having us in your studio. And
Glad you had me back, Travis.
It started out as a side gig kind of thing, like, and it's grown to enough listeners that it literally is something now. But I don't.
It's easy too, because I mean I've known you guys forever, so we're just sitting here having beers, bullshitting like any other day.
And it's cool. I like to think that the listeners feel like they've known us forever just from listening to us talk.
Well, we've gotten better at it too, because like the first 15 to 20. And I mean, I don't think I can think of anything tonight that I need to go back and edit. But there's the first 15 to 20 podcasts.
You never know. You better listen.
I was listening for 3 hours each time, and 3 hours plus editing.
Just really anal about it.
You're talking 6 hours. It wasn't even so anal, but like the fact that we just weren't that good in front of the microphones yet. We'd say shit, or we'd call out people, or locals or whatever, like things that you just shouldn't do, or you'd get to one way or the other politically or something that you just went like, that's not the direction we're looking for completely, or and honestly this podcast has always been listed under comedy on iTunes or Google Play or whatever. So at that point I keep saying, like, not that we're telling jokes over and over, but that it's listed under comedy. You got to know that it's not that serious.
It's not serious.
I mean, there's plenty of them that we got full blown serious and we started talking about shit, but we need to do it more often, especially with the characters that we have around here. I mean, you guys included. We talk like Mike Peigneux.
Oh, there's so many good people you can get on this fucking podcast that we could go for days and days and days with the people with such charismatic attitudes around Malta, Montana, and people who can talk and have so many good stories and so many good conversations. But the hardest part is trying to convince them to come in. Like, I don't know. People are scared.
Like I said tonight, we were trying to convince a new guy to come, and someday we'll get him on here. And like I told him, I go, you can sit back. We can have the fourth mic. It doesn't even have to be on, and you can sit back and like listen to us just bullshit. And eventually, you're gonna, like, it isn't so much even about getting drunk, but if you have 2 beers, you might loosen up a little bit. And then you realize after you say 2 words into the microphone, it's really not that bad.
Well, I was
scared shitless the first time too.
I enjoy it. It's fun. I mean,
we were in here the first time. The studio was originally built just to do music in, and we were doing music like crazy. And one night we're in here trying to like write songs and do our thing, and none of us could come up with anything. We're looking at like YouTube videos and I looked at the other guys. I go, "You guys ever thought about doing a podcast?" Because honestly, I bought the mixer and all the 4 mics for doing a podcast eventually, but we never did. I was too much of a puss. And so I looked at those guys like, "You guys ever thought about doing a podcast?" And Noah goes, "Fuck yeah, let's do one." Like that night, we just went, "All right, we're gonna talk. What are we even gonna talk about?" But we just threw it on and we started talking. And
then it's one of those things you throw out and you're like, "Who's gonna listen to it?" Mm-hmm. I mean,
you never know.
You think that? And now I'll put this thing out tomorrow. All my podcasts, I usually, eventually, I'd like to get to the point that we could have good cameras in here and just do them live. With just do them YouTube camera, through your thing, because you'll get live listeners and the other one. Like, I'm starting to realize what it takes, and it's almost like running your own TV station back in the day. Right now, we're pretty much a radio station, but we're world fucking wide. We're gonna hit 20 fucking countries when I release this thing, and you're gonna get listeners in Ireland, and like, sure, a lot of them ain't gonna say shit, but it'll come across their iTunes feed, and they'll listen to it, and they'll like it, or they'll comment, and that's. I literally have friends in the Philippines now because of this stupid thing. Cool. Like, and they're guys now that, like, I'll post a new Montarctica fucking design or something. They'll be one of the first guys to like and go like, "Hey, get one over here." And I'm like,
it'd be cool one of these days if you get some listeners
ship me back free cell phone parts. No,
to come and check it out. To come check out Montarctica. I mean.
Yeah, I should probably clean the room up a little more.
Not in the wintertime, though. You guys don't want to come. It's
cold as shit. Yeah, that's why Shane wants to quit on us tonight because he's so cold. His toes are getting cold.
I finally got cold, and it's been a long time since I've been fucking cold, but my feet are cold.
God, and he whines a lot too when he's cold.
He whines a lot if he's warm.
Fuck, I do.
You're there's a reason we call you Angry
I'm
Larry.
usually the last one to whine, though.
That's why we call you Angry Larry, because you're just mad.
Fuck you, I'm out.
See? All right, last one. Biggest opportunity you ever passed up or missed out on, and it can't be a girl. Can't be that one time you were laying in bed in high school and you went, I should have kissed her. Don't give me that one. Like, what is there something that like you'd had something offered to you and you could have jumped at it and you didn't have it, or that you might have like knew the inside of it and didn't commit the way you should have? Does anybody have one?
Mine, I could have ended up in Winnemucca, Nevada, running equipment for a very large amount of money. I was a 19-year-old man, and at the same time, I was doing what teenage boys do. I was partying. I was having a good time. Got a pile of tickets for drinking underage, and the judge basically told me I was not going to Nevada, and I lost that opportunity. Later on to find out that she couldn't tell me that. You know, it was just misdemeanor bullshit, you know, drinking underage tickets. I could have went, but I didn't know, so I stayed and pissed away that opportunity. And yes, it was partly my fault, but partly the judge's fault. But I missed out. I if I was down there today, which would have been 15 years later, I would probably be a foreman making $140,000 a year in a fucking gold mine. But that was my fault for the most part.
All right, but at that point, what's money in your home? You like, sure, you work a county job and
So
you're not getting rich, but you're home with your kids every night.
Yeah,
and
well,
like that's
but
a whole difference.
As
like,
a 19-year-old man, that would have been an
Yeah.
excellent
Oh,
opportunity.
yeah, I
That's
see
probably
that
the
too.
best thing I've ever pissed away.
you'd be making 20,000 less than what you're making now. Then is what you're saying.
But yeah,
pretty close.
but you know, in
Well,
the long
just because
run,
his dad's the
everything-
commissioner. But
everything kind of works out for itself in the long run. And
I wouldn't trade a thing for the world like now, but like I can look back on opportunities that I should have jumped on or not. One was clearly fucking Bitcoin. I sold 5.5 Bitcoins to move into this house for just the down, like for the down and the fucking. At that point, they were not. I doubled my money, so you can't bitch.
No.
Like who fucking gains 50%? Literally a year later, I would have had almost 200 grand in Bitcoin, and I got a rental house out of the deal. And that's one of the deals. Another one when I was in Phoenix, I remember I worked for like the premier bike shop in Phoenix, which was they'd hire kids from the school that knew their shit, and I did. So like I got hired there, but I was just I was the parts guy, you know, whatever. But they didn't pay shit because it was the play. Like you worked at Piper Performance, that was the shit.
Yeah, everybody wanted to be there. So
Yeah, I had the dream job out of the kids that were going to school at MMI. That's why you went to school, was to go get a suspension shop job with fucking Cliff Piper or somebody. Well, I had this job, and then the Phoenix Supercross came along, and we're supposed to be at the Phoenix Supercross at whatever it was, 10 in the morning. I'm working floor crew. Like I literally jumped on the fucking golf cart with the head of Clear Channel at the time that's like running the Supercross, and he's running me around because, you know, I'm an outgoing guy. I'm pretty fucking personal. I like to talk to people. Well, I worked the first day. Everything's in his Flynn, and he's like, if you're looking to get out of here, like, and go to work on tour with Supercross and like, you know, like do the thing and be in the entertainment part of the industry, and I'm like, he's giving me the whole spiel all day, and I'm working my tail off for him. Well, I get done that night. I'm so excited. I go down to South Phoenix and I party my nuts off like I'm celebrating, like I'd already landed the job. I showed up an hour late the next day.
ooh, shit.
Guy didn't give a fuck. He had me haul hay bales all day, and that was the end of my job. And that would like we went from fucking best friends riding around on a golf cart, from literally the head of fucking Clear Channel, me and him, to him going, pack those fucking hay bales, and when you're done, you're done. Get back in the stands and buy your own ticket. And that was just because I went out that night.
Partied a little too much.
Yeah, I was so pumped that night that
Sorry for partying.
yeah, I did. I went out and party rocked. Too bad. Yeah, but if I would have landed that job, I'd probably still be a fucking single man and not, you know, probably not satisfied. The way that, I mean, like, I tell you what,
I really thought you were going to say you'd be a single man with a pile of money and
maybe.
just be just happy, you
Yeah.
know?
I know a lot of single guys with a pile of money that are far from happy, though. You know? I mean, I know a lot, and
I
they're
know a lot of single guys.
a lot of single guys with a pile of money wishing to have what I had. It's just a family and some kids at home, and that's what they wanted to, like, they want an old lady to go lay down with and do their thing, and it's a double-edged sword, you know? Like, the grass is always greener, I suppose, but that's not. I see a lot. Anyway, we'll get over this podcast. We fucking did 2 hours. It was great. Thank you guys for coming in the fucking bitter Montarctica cold.
Well, thanks for having me, Rhodes.
Next time I'll start the heater. I said I should have came out.
Thank you for having me, bud.
I was gonna come start the heater at fucking 3, and I waited till 6, and this is what we got. So it's kind of cold in here. But thanks, guys. We'll post this fucker tomorrow, and I don't think I have to edit a damn thing, and that's good. So we should do more. And as I was leaving for Billings the other day, when like after I'd got sick and I sat around, I was kind of reviewing like what I'd had on the website and what like the hits and the things that we've had through. I went, you fucking idiot, do more, produce more content. Like even if it's us three or
pump it out,
Johnny or whoever, I need to do it way more often.
Just us three?
Well, that's what I mean. No, like I bring in other
scum.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But you know, we bring in other guests too, and but to the fact that we haven't done one since fucking December is pretty terrible, especially when we were waiting on episode 50. So this was like, we had episode 50 now. Like,
it's hard to get the attitude to want to go out and do something after you've been outside for
a
day at fucking 20 some odd below zero. But thank you for.
Don't get me wrong, it's work for me to come in here and set up the podcast room, make sure the mics are hot and working. And like, sounds stupid, but I run. If I was one of the, like before, if I had the money that I'd have completely separate setups for my DJ gig and for my promotions and stuff and for my podcast. Unfortunately, they all run the same thing. Like we're running off my graphics computer right now, and I switch them up the whole time, and it takes a bit.
Hey, it works.
But it does work, and I think people will listen. So thank you guys. With that, we're out. Montarctica episode number 50. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.